you did not like the movie The Mission with Robert De Niro and
No, The Mission was okay. The Mission was okay. It was the Robert Blake film.
In Cold Blood.
Yeah, and I was looking forward to it. Like when you mentioned it to me, I was like, because I had watched that film, Looking for Mr. Goodbar, and it's the same director as you pointed out.
Right.
Looking for Mr. Goodbar was so good, in fact, that I was thinking the ending. I don't want to ruin it, and it's from '77. So I guess we can give a spoiler. Yeah. Tom Berenger, she tells Tom Berenger, like, makes a joke because he can't get his dick hard because he's in the closet gay, you know, and it upsets him. He's like, "What are you trying to say? Like, I'm impotent, I'm gay, whatever." And like he gets hard and he brutally like rapes her and cuts her up while the strobe light's going. It's very disturbing. Especially when you hear that it's a real story. It's how that one lady really died. So you're like, oh, well, you need to check out In Cold Blood. It's by the same guy, the same director. And I was like, oh man. And then you find out Robert Blake, I think he's dead now, right? He was a convicted murderer. And so he's the murderer and he's a real life murderer. So I was like, oh, this is going to be great. Couldn't dig it. The editing, and like you're wearing the Tarantino shirt, which I dig. The Tarantino movies are non-linear more often than not, and I like that. That's the way In Cold Blood was, but I couldn't keep up with it. Yeah. The editing was just so bad for me, and I didn't like the score either.
Gay, are we talking Trump tonight? Kenny says, no politics, although Trump better not be gay if he's going to spend time in jail. I had to put that in. But what we were talking about is the movie In Cold Blood. Dan had recently seen the movie Looking for Mr. Goodbar.
I thought about it for like 4 days. Richard Gere, very young Richard Gere. LeVar Burton.
Yeah. I'll tell you, when I saw it in the movie theater, that closing scene that you described really haunted me. And when I ran out and bought the paperback and read that, and I think the paperback is actually better than the movie, but the movie was damn good. So I recommended In Cold Blood with Robert Blake, and I forgot the co-star, but I thought it was an interesting portrayal of how two guys who are not real good guys, but probably would not have committed a heinous multiple murder, but together, you know, it was like a lethal combination, and those guys went into a Kansas farmhouse and shot up an entire family.
And you don't see it like it for the most of the movie, it's implied.
Right.
It like bounces around, and then they finally show it like an hour and 50 minutes in. I felt so much frustration, like they weren't showing anything. Everything was being talked about, not just the killings. It was just like bouncing around, and I didn't know what was present, what was a flashback. What was conjecture? Like, is this a fantasy? Like, I couldn't keep up with it. I thought the editing was so bad for that film, but that's just me, man. Now, my other half, who moved in on Sunday, officially, it was a long fucking day, by the way, like 12 hours. And I didn't want to hear, oh, this goes upstairs ever again. But Jesus Christ, we carried this like fucking cabinet, this like the quote unquote China, the hell cabinet. It had to be 375 pounds. And there's like 4 guys carrying it, and we're all dying. Anyway, she moved in. Finally, she watched a movie with me, and she said, quote, I hate it.
She hated it.
And she loves those kind of movies. We both like darker movies, like the one you sent us so kindly. I forget the name of it on DVD from 2002.
Irreversible, I think it's called. Yeah.
She says 5 stars, you know, that it's a fucked up movie, that I'm going to love it. She's already seen it.
It's fucked up.
She's like, oh, you're going to dig this, man. But yeah, the other one, I just couldn't follow, and I felt guilty about it. But one more thing, because we got a lot of Bears to talk about, right? Hard Knocks, baby. Hard Knocks.
Yeah.
How about if I told you, just for fun fact, today, 25 years ago, I graduated high school. Today, June 4th, 1999.
Ooh, nice.
Got a reunion coming up on June 15th. I'm going to go, too, I think.
So that's the 25th year anniversary, huh? Nice.
Today, this very night, I told her earlier, because I just mowed my lawn, and I was like, man, if you'd have told me 25 years ago, like, you're going to be with Nikki again, because I was trying to get back with her then in 99, it didn't work. And she was there that night, and I was trying to get back with her that night. I was like, but if you told me 25 years ago, you know what? You're going to be in radio, you're going to have a house, and the Bears still haven't won a Super Bowl, but you're going to get back with Nicky. I was like, okay, I'll take it. It must be a win.
Yes, definitely. I love it. And as you said, we got a lot of Bears to talk about, and Johnny Santucci will be here with a special Bears State of Affairs. It's going to be centered on Hard Knocks, which Dan just mentioned. So let's officially start the show. Thank you for everyone who's coming early. Let's get this baby rolling, babe. Woo!
Put the children to bed. It's time for Dan and Aldo to bare their souls.
I love the Chicago Bears more than I do masturbating, and that is a lot.
Then, with 3 seconds left, Bob Avellini throws a 30-something-yard touchdown pass to Greg Latta, and the Bears win, and I literally shit my pants. I swear to God, I literally did.
Eric Kramer, for me, I love the guy. He's a tragic figure. I mean, he embodies all that is.
If they don't run the ball here, I'm going to vomit. I swear to God.
Look, I don't mean any disrespect. He just didn't play that well. Not for a guy of his caliber.
They won, but I'm going to be miserable all week because they stunk.
I don't really have any recollection of that at all, but I guess perhaps I blacked it all out.
So, Dan, tape is the ultimate tool for scouts and for coaches to evaluate players, to detect plays and so forth. And they spend hours looking at tape, right? Why do they so often get shit wrong?
I love the efficiency of bourbon.
Ladies and gentlemen, Dan and Aldo.
Oh, man, I am so happy for this show to talk Bears football. Tooch is logging in. He's going to be with us in less than an hour with a special Bears State of Affairs. We were talking with Dan about his move, and when John comes in, we're going to talk about his move. It was 3 weeks ago, and he's still recovering.
Wow.
It wasn't that long ago.
I feel it, man. I was sore yesterday. Again, I didn't move. She moved in with me. But nevertheless, we were doing all the work together, and I was beat up on Monday, man. It's getting old, though, right?
Yeah.
You can't do shit like you used to. I was tired all day, arms hurting. But, what picked me up? I said, did you see the video of Caleb Williams chanting Green Bay sucks?
Yeah, that was awesome.
As much as we know that's not true and they kick our ass, we still chant it anyway. I love it. It still makes me happy every time I see somebody else chanting that, And
it makes me happy every time Nikki joins us in the chat room, and she's been with us 2 shows, and I'm sure she'll be with us like 200 more before.
Yeah, she's at my crib, our crib.
Look at that. Oh, look at that. That's right. You guys live together now.
Yeah, she's at my crib. Hey, and that's the big thing last thing we'll say before non-Bears. I'm so glad and so honored and really, really honored that you said you're going to come to watch us get married, man. I'm so happy.
Wouldn't miss it for the world.
Thank you.
Well, who knows? Maybe I'll be in a deadly car accident.
No, don't say that.
I'm just kidding. There are actually 2 things non-Bears related that I want to quickly mention. Number one is, I promise we're not going to talk politics today, but in a future show, we are going to talk politics. It'll probably be the entire show, but we'll give you fair warning. But I do want to get people in the chat room. I do want to get your opinion about whether you are agreed with the verdict against Donald Trump or thought that it was a terrible verdict, or a comment to let me kind of know how you feel about that. And I won't share them on the screen. I just, for personal purposes, I want to kind of get a gauge as to where our audience is. And then the second thing I want to talk about, non-Bears, and we got a lot of Bears talk. Man, fucking Keenan Allen was outstanding in his press conference. Did you hear it today, Dan?
I saw some of it. Yeah, I shared one of your clips too.
Yeah, it was great. And so I got a bunch of clips from that part of the press conference to share. But I want to get your opinion, Dan, and others regarding Major League Baseball has decided to incorporate the statistics, the verified statistics from Negro League baseball games into Major League Baseball. So now certain record holders are out and new ones are in, like Josh Gordon now has a record for a single season batting average or something like that. I don't know exactly. So I went back and forth with Mike North on X about it. He thinks it's a bad idea, primarily because he says they didn't play in the majors. So how can you incorporate their stats? And I said, well, they didn't play in the majors because they were unfairly held out. How about if those stats, Major League Baseball stats, should be allowed to be in the Negro League Baseball stats? Because who knows which could have been the better of the two leagues, or at least, the champion from the Negro Leagues league could have probably beat the Major League Baseball. So that was my thinking, that I think it's a good thing. But what do you think, Dan?
I think the setup that you had there kind of sound like a Super Bowl thing, Mm-hmm. You said the championship of this, and it's sort of like what I was thinking. Now, again, I don't know if they played 9-inning games, and I don't know the story of how the game was, if it was akin to Major League Baseball at the time. But here goes my comparison, Aldo. You remember the AFL, for example, wasn't the NFL yet, right? It was considered a lackluster league early on, and those statistics have carried over.
Right.
Like Joe Namath's stats from 1965 aren't disqualified because he wasn't in the NFL now, at that point. So I have no problem.
Great point.
So if the AFL carried over, then who's to say the Negro League couldn't carry over? And like you said, it's not like these guys weren't good enough to play in the big leagues. They were just told they couldn't. And again, as we all know, savagely, just because of what their skin color looked like, which is dreadful.
Yeah, I understand the opposing point of view, but I just think it's kind of the right thing to do. I do want to play an opinion that when I saw it actually bothered me that these two people had this opinion. There are two guys, one formerly from ESPN, Bomani Jones, and one guy who is still there. I forgot now his name. He's got a compound word for his nickname, but it'll come to me once I show you the clip. It's 50 seconds long. This is them talking about the Major League Baseball inheriting or adapting the Negro League's stats.
They have added the Negro League stats to the Major League Baseball stats. And I don't know how much anybody actually cares about this. And the reason I say that is now that record book don't really matter like it used to. They went ahead and decided to do right.
My first reaction was like, oh, that's dope. That's cool. That's about right. But don't nobody care no more. Once the steroids era happened, y'all said these numbers don't matter no more. Now y'all gonna let us in?
But it makes me wonder, though, and I was thinking about it kind of in a broader sense, what is their relationship with those records? Do people care about that anymore? And the reason I ask that also in part is as we become more sophisticated, we care far less about these raw stats. And so now we throw the Negro League numbers in there, and good on them for preserving the historical legacy, especially considering this feel like something they decided to do in 2020. And then they was like, never mind.
What do you think about what those guys just said?
I told you, the gentleman, he used to be on Around the Horn, right? And then went to HBO.
Bomani Jones, yes.
Yeah, I think that guy's got one shtick and one shtick only, and it's just constantly racial tensions, and if he didn't have race baiting, that's all he wouldn't have anything. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I cannot as a white guy tell people, especially of African American descent, how to feel on the Negro League situation. Right. All I know is I'm not opposed to it myself. When I see that clip, like I said, I just feel like that's his entire thing. It's just like everything turns into something like to divide us with racial, like it's just, it feels he's a one-trick pony. Yeah. And I'm not saying he's not talented, but man, he's a one-hit wonder, and that's why he just rolls with it and refuses to stop, in my opinion.
Yeah, I like Bomani Jones a lot. I think he always has an interesting point of view. He definitely does have an agenda, I would say. He was trying to present the other point of view from black people who he's trying to express. We've been oppressed so fucking long. We need somebody like myself and others to let people know how we've been fucked over. I totally get that and appreciate that. But what I had a problem with in that clip is that, you know what, as opposed to complaining about that, why not fucking talk about these players who are now the record holders?
Right.
Why not shine a spotlight on them, on Josh Gibson, and talk about how this motherfucker hit home runs that people were saying by 100 feet were longer than the ones Babe Ruth hit. He was just a phenomenal baseball player. He played in the Negro Leagues. He played in Puerto Rico. He played throughout the Caribbean, and everywhere he played, he just wowed people. Why not shine the spotlight on that and something positive other than now shitting on what is a good gesture by Major League Baseball? Is it late? Absolutely. Did Major League Baseball fuck up by not allowing people of color to play in their league? Absolutely. Could they have done it early? Absolutely. All that stuff. But that shouldn't be the important thing right now. The important thing should be is that these players are being recognized, and it should be your job, Bomani, and man, I can't remember the other guy's name, but it should be your job to let people know about these guys. But
when he referenced the steroid era, was the point he was trying to convey? And again, I'm a Bonds guy, so was he trying to say that stats don't matter because Bonds' record, because it showed Bonds there? Was he saying that people didn't care about stats? He called it the steroid era, but was the implication that people didn't like Barry, so the record didn't matter? I kind of got lost how he was comparing the steroid era with the Negro League, but it was something to do with Barry and people not liking Barry having the record. Is that right?
Yeah, what he's trying to say there is once steroids hit and people just started spitting on stats, well, Barry broke, Babe Ruth's home run record, but it was because of steroids. So you were telling us then that those stats don't matter, and so why should we care now? Why still should those stats care now? Well, I'll tell you why. Reason why. One of Barry Bonds' records now goes down. He's no longer the leader, and I forgot what it was, whether it's home runs or whatever the fuck. But I would like to know, but people are focusing on what is wrong about this, which is that it was late, and not focusing on the exploits of the players. And trust me, as soon as I take a break from doing all this work, I'm going to read up a lot more on Negro Leagues, and maybe we'll even have on the director of the Negro Leagues Hall of Fame. We've had him on before on a different, I think it was Joe Mandel, Greg Braggs, when they used to do their show together. They had
Braggs in the Stands?
Braggs in the Stands, yes. Yeah. I think they had that guy on. I'd like to bring him back. And by the way, another guy I'd like to bring back, getting back to football, is the guy that wrote that NFL book, Bob Angelo, and he was one of the creators of Hard Knocks, which the Bears are going to be on. How cool is that?
That's a great segue. Great segue. Yeah,
we should. Thank you. We should have Bob next week. What do you think?
I'm down, man. Let me ask you this. We know, and I'll ask your opinion. We know forever since this started that George McCaskey has been like, "Oh no, not us, and was been opposed to it. I mean. So I've kind of been conditioned to not want it just because George didn't want it. But now that we're on it, are you excited about it? Like, I kind of feel excited now. At first I was like, oh no, because I know that's what George would say. But now I'm kind of excited, just as long as it's the unedited broadcast. I don't want that. If we're hearing F-bombs and stuff, I'm going to be recording it.
Oh, absolutely. They will on HBO. How they've done it every other season is they will play the primetime one uncensored. So, and then they'll have a version that is censored for younger audience that they'll play on HBO 2 or one of their other HBO channels. So I am very, very excited. The Willis twins pointed out to me, the Willis twins, they do a podcast here on Friday. Excellent show, Talking Bears for 60 minutes. They made me aware of the Alice Hall produced a 1920 video series on the draft, and they had microphones on Poles and Ian Cunningham and Kevin Warren and so forth. And so you saw that whole process. The great part was they were ready to trade up for Rome Odunze, because on their board, number 1 was Caleb and number 2 was Rome. Wow. And so they were praying that he would continue to fall. And that 1920 series does a good job of showing that suspense of, okay, he's still available. Oh, he's still available. Oh, he's there. And it was great, man. And so HBO is going to do something like that with the Bears practices, and we're going to get to know players better. It's going to be fucking fantastic. We'll be on, because it comes out on Monday, if I remember correctly. And so we'll be on the day after
reacting.
Yeah, to react to the show. So that's going to be tons of fun for us as well on this show. The other thing about today's show is we're really going to get to know Keenan Allen. What a cool motherfucker that guy is. Holy shit, man. He had me psyched up. I almost feel bad for Cole Kmet, because he's going to probably take 20, 30 receptions away from him, because he's going to be patrolling the middle of the field. And he didn't say it that way, but that's sort of what I read in between the lines, is Cole is going to be much more blocking in line, and Gerald Everett will be going out. He'll be the move tight end, moving around and getting, be the second or third receiver. And it's going to be Keenan Allen, who wants to get 1,000 yards and 100 pass catches this year in a contract year. So that's going to be really, really. I
was going to say, we can't feel too badly for Cole, because Cole went to the bank. Mm-hmm. Cole has been paid. He's going to be okay. It doesn't. If he has 35 less catches this year, the check's still coming. So Cole Kmet's going to be okay. Yeah, like you said, key word there, contract year for Keenan Allen. I still hold out the hope that, we traded a 4th-round pick to get this gentleman, and I know he's 31, 32. I still hope that they can add a year or 2 on it, so it's not a lame duck year. They've got the money. Just get this done before he even takes a snap week 1.
Well, it's funny that you say that, because he did talk about that, and I think I pulled that. But before I do, I'm going to get a T-shirt done for Don's suggestion. Cool and old. That's me. I'll look on the cool and old. I like it. All right, so Keenan did meet with the press, and let's see if I have. Oh yeah, here it is. This is him talking about potentially signing an extension to stay with Chicago. It's about 2 minutes long, because I included some extra stuff.
It's kind of tough to answer right now, but I'm going to play as long as I can. As far as extension, we would let the play speak for itself, and if they offer me something that I like, then we'll go from there.
Are you okay with the idea if this is a contract year, going out and proving it and looking for that next deal?
Yeah, absolutely. That's the goal right now. Just to go out and do what I always do, and just try to remain who I am. And the market just got reset, so.
On that note, what are your thoughts on, especially for veteran players, like the market for wide receivers keeps evolving, especially the last couple of years?
That's huge. It's big for the game. Christian McCaffrey just went for 19. That's huge for a running back. And, as long as those numbers continue to go up, the players are going to obviously continue to get better. They're younger, bigger, stronger, faster. And, they continue to raise the bar. So as long as they're taking care of their job, and vets like me, we just continue to do what we do, take the back seat, and, get paid as well.
I feel like there's this high end, the way the receiver market looks right now, there's the high end receivers, yourself in that category for doing this now, 12 seasons, and then there's the rookies. Do you feel like the mid-range, mid-tier receivers are kind of getting squeezed out of the NFL a little bit?
I wouldn't say squeezed out. I wouldn't say squeezed out. You got twos, like wide receiver twos are still getting paid pretty good. I think above $20 million, I think.
Is that an unusual situation for you, though? You're in this place you've never been before, far away from the people you love. If somebody came up and said, hey, you want to commit to this place for 3 more years or 2 years or whatever, is that a tough decision, kind of not knowing what it's like here?
Not really. As far as I've been here, it's been, nothing but love. It's been beautiful. The golf is amazing, which I love to do, and the guys are amazing in the locker room as well. So I mean, it wouldn't be hard to adjust to a city like this.
When you found out about the trade, what did it mean to have Coach Beatty already here?
That was huge. He's one of the first guys I talked to, and just him being here made it a lot more comfortable. Just not having to adjust to another guy who I'm going to see every day, who's going to talk to me every day. We already have an understanding of, the way I go through the week. He knows how I want to practice. He knows, when and when not to, with me. So that's great.
He's cool and old, just like me.
Yeah.
I love him. Doesn't he come off with a guy with a lot of confidence, and the fact that he's been able to back up his confidence with excellent season after excellent season. It's great to have him. If he can stay healthy, then maybe, and he does catch 80, 100 passes, you got to think that maybe you keep him around another couple of seasons while Rome matures into the league. What do you think? And
you can re-sign him again. I would advocate before the season commences, you could re-sign him and then reduce his cap number this year because give him a big signing bonus. Mm-hmm. And bring that cap number down. Not that necessarily is something the Bears have to do, but it could help. You could reduce his large cap number. I think, if he would take it, if you could bring him, give him a 2-year deal, add it on to this season, I don't think it makes him complacent. I think it makes him know that he's here and let's win a championship here. Yep. Versus almost defiantly like, oh God, I can't get hurt. I'll be 33. No one will sign me. It'll make him go out balls to the wall, so to speak, if he's got some not necessarily angling for leverage, but some security. Yeah. I could see this guy being featured on Hard Knocks because he's so articulate. He's got so much history. He can talk about other teams that he's been with. So he can show B-roll of, Justin Herbert. This guy to me is perfectly made to become a star here in Chicago. And he's got to factor in the endorsement deals he's going to get from being in Chicago. If he's traded to Carolina, what's he going to do? An endorsement deal for Bob's Trucks? And while here in Chicago, he can do McDonald's commercials and make some big buku money. Now, Flex says that Keenan absolutely torched the NFC North last season. Can't wait to see him do it again in a Bears uniform. And he's right. I actually did a video that you can find under the video section of the Barroom Network on Keenan Allen and the 6 games that he had last season against the Vikings, Packers, and Lions. He fucking blew them all away. I think it was near 100 or over 100, definitely over 100 in most games against those teams. And he's going to do that again as a Bear. So awesome, man. Hey, Damon, how are you? So let me play a little bit more of him. He is going to talk here about, here's a kind of a little compilation I did, 1.5 minutes about Keenan Allen, including some Matt Eberflus songs.
In your opinion, how long does it take for a new offense with a lot of new players in key positions to kind of gel and come together and start firing on all cylinders?
It definitely takes a process. I would say somewhere in there between camp, when everybody starts to understand the chemistry, how the coach likes to call the play, how the quarterback is going to progress through it, the way he sees it, and everybody getting to the spots that that are most comfortable where people are supposed to be.
Yeah, I mean, we've all the NFL coaches have seen Keenan for a lot of years, and the first thing that comes to mind when you just say crafty. I mean, he is so crafty with his route running. He seems like he's always open, even when I used to double cover him. So it's like he is crafty. He understands his body and understands his way, and he's really friendly to the quarterback. Because he's a really big target, and he's very good at what he does.
Do you agree with that, and what do you think that means when somebody calls you crafty?
Yeah, absolutely. Just think it means your technique and the ways you're able to perform are an art. You're able to just make things look different. You're probably doing the same things, but it looks a little different. You're able to get to it different ways, and it's kind of special the way you draw it up.
Do you think that aided you more as you've been in the league longer as well?
Yeah, absolutely. Just being able to see, multiple things over and over again. You see the same thing over and over. You're able to attack it different ways, and just learning through those situations.
I love it. Gotta love it, man. He is going to be such a weapon for Caleb. I wouldn't even mind, everybody is hoping that Rome gets 85 catches and so forth. I wouldn't mind if Rome was limited to 40 to 50 catches in his rookie year so that we can feed Keenan Allen the ball a lot so that he wants to stay here for the next 2 or 3 years. He gives us a little bit of a discount. He doesn't have to necessarily go to the highest bidder. I know money rules, but sometimes when you're in a good situation, man, and you're playing for the city of Chicago, and when the city of Chicago is appreciating winning football, this is a great fucking town to play football for, man. It really fucking is. Can't wait. What do you think, Dan?
I think maybe the Hard Knocks too is a way. I mean, we've already got the spotlight on the Bears. I mean, the Bears' name always gets the primetime games, even when we're shitty. You know that.
Yep.
But
good ratings.
Right. But with Caleb Williams there, that's another element. And now you put the Hard Knocks on. Like you said earlier, you didn't mention a specific player, but it could elevate, underdog kind of guys. I mean, people that haven't been paid and sort of make them national now. So in so many ways, this is good for the franchise, I think.
Yeah.
I really thought about it. I think it's good for them to get the spotlight shined on them. And I do agree with Don Burr, like Kendall Vildor, as you know, I was always saying was garbage. So I hope he sucks in Detroit and stays there.
Yeah, I saw Kendall down at the Senior Bowl, and all the scouts down there were raving about him. And after his rookie year, the scouts that we talked to, we reached out to a couple of them, and they were like, be patient. But it never really happened. And so Don is making fun of Kendall Vilder was the one that guarded Keenan Allen. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and make fun of the Lions for acquiring Kendall Vilder. If he sucked so much with the Bears, what was he doing on your team, you fucking idiot? What was that noise? It sounded like you were killing a cat or something.
Someone tagged me in a video on Facebook, and I didn't know what it was, and I opened it, and it was somebody like dragging their feet on cement or something. I kept trying to close it. Sorry about that.
That's fine. All right. Here is Keenan on Rome Odunze.
Rome looks great. He's a guy who stepped in. He's been with the ones right off the bat. And, he's running around pretty good. His routes, he knows what he's doing, his responsibilities, and that's huge. First coming in, we haven't even got the training camp, and he already kind of knows, where to go, where to line up, where to be at. So that's huge.
What do you look forward to when it comes
that? When you've got three guys, DJ, Rome, and yourself, that have kind of different skill sets, how do you see that all kind of blending together to make this offense more dynamic?
I think we have different skill sets, but we're all doing kind of the same thing. We're all going to run the same routes. We're all going to be in the same spot. So the skill set really doesn't matter until you get the ball. And once you get the ball, you're able to see who can do what. Obviously, DJ, he can, through the roof, his yards after catch. We have to see what Rome's going to do in the NFL. And, I'm a guy who's going to play the middle, like I play it. So I think we're all going to feed off each other and, just build confidence with each other.
Today was your first day getting the
Again, he's asking how many Lions are going to get suspended for gambling this season. Detroit always finds a way to fuck things up, Don Burr. So that's the thing you should be worried about, is not the Bears.
What's the story on that? I've only kind of heard rumblings about it. I didn't know if it was a legitimate story.
I think it is a legitimate story that one guy was busted for gambling on FanDuel or one of those gambling apps and so forth. Man, it's becoming a problem. There was news today of I think it was a baseball player who is facing possible expulsion from Major League Baseball because of his gambling on baseball games. And
that happened in the NBA recently.
And it happened in the NBA recently. So as long as it's not a Chicago player, particularly the Bears, I don't care if it happens to the White Sox or the Cubs. We get a scouting report here from Bruce Hollywalter. Jordan Odunze really drops his hips at the breaks. Very smooth for a tall guy. That is truly, truly amazing. The one thing that I remember most about the combine this year is it was over, but he wanted to achieve a certain goal. I think it was under 6 seconds on the 3-cone drill. And basically, when you run that 3-cone drill, you want the player that's running it to drop their hips as much as possible to make that turn and hit that, I think it was 6-second mark, or maybe it's 9 second. And he just missed it by fractions of a second. And so he stayed after the combine was over, and he's running it again and running it again and running again, and really fucking pissed off that he didn't achieve his goal. So that's the kind of player I want playing for the Chicago Bears.
I concur.
All right. Let's see. What else I got here I got tons of stuff, man. Here is something that is going to make you really fucking happy.
It's a vagina?
Look at that. I wish we could show pornographic images on our show.
From Toocher's heyday.
He's loading some stuff now here for a Bear State of Affairs, and I'm reading the titles, and it's like Penetration version 1, Penetration version 2. We're in for a great state of affairs. Okay, so Cliff alluded to this in the comments. Keenan was asked about that race to 1,000 yards that DJ Moore proclaimed that he and Keenan were going to be involved in.
DJ said it's going to be a race to get 1,000 yards. Do you agree with that?
Yeah. Just because. I mean, obviously, we both want to be successful. We both want the ball. We both playmakers. So it's going to be a race.
How important is it for you and DJ to build that chemistry? I know we talked about the chemistry with the quarterback, but the chemistry with y'all and running routes and the nonverbals. It's kind of in the middle of the play, kind of freestyling. How important is it to get that chemistry, and what's that process like?
I think it's big. Because on certain plays we're able to, I can go to his spot, he can go to my spot, and we're able to make the play right, wherever we're at. So like today, we got a formation, and nobody was kind of in the right spot, but we all ran the play. As long as we can communicate on that level and get there fast and make the defense have to speed up and, show us the look, and I think it makes it easier on the quarterback.
Do you plan to do another? I know Caleb organized that workout in Southern California before the draft. Are you planning to do throwing sessions with him, like before you guys join?
Yeah. We'll probably take a trip somewhere. Haven't talked about it in depth, but we'll probably take a trip somewhere.
How important is? I mean, obviously the on-field stuff is you need it to be have that symbiotic relationship. But you guys went to the Sky game together. It feels like there's been a lot of off-field bonding. Mm-hmm. Is that stuff like as important as it seems to?
Yeah, absolutely. Just understanding each other's energy. Like Kobe say, finding those ticks. How to get into his head, how to make him, very competitive, and what to make him tick. You know what I'm saying? And just being able to hang out with each other. Finding each other's rhythm, energy, and kind of emotion is everything.
What was the reaction?
Then, he's just said something that reminded me of some really terrible news that I read about this week. And that is that my favorite strip club in the Chicago area is closing. And so I was hoping that you and I would go there and create our own bonding experience. Not going to happen. But then again, you're getting lap dances at home now with Nikki, right?
She's retired from that, but more importantly, I'm not the gentleman just getting the lap dance. I'm the gentleman that's getting the vaginal penetration. So
more importantly,
more importantly, going back to your strip club in Illinois, perhaps it would still be open if you all went the full way. I mean, like again, in West Virginia, they show the fucking twats. The vagina is on display at a strip club. In Illinois, they got their bottoms on. Who wants to go see that shit?
Yeah, well, I don't know if any Illinois strip joint allows that to show the vagina.
You got to change the law, man. Where's Rob Blagojevich when we need him?
He would do it for a bribe, I guess.
He would need a kickback, but he would do it.
Exactly. I went to a strip club in Miami where the women stood on a coffee table and did
oh
their
God,
dances.
does this involve shitting?
No, it involves there being a mirror on the coffee table and they weren't wearing any panties. So all of us are like looking down at the mirror to see her vagina when she's hovering above us. It was the weirdest thing. All right. I see that Tooch is like warming up his vocal cords, so he'll be with us as soon as he gives me the thumbs. Oh, look at this. He's got a thumbs up. Why don't we bring in the Tooch now, and then we'll continue after that, talking about the Hard Knocks and getting some more sound from the press conferences today. Let's bring him in now. His name is Johnny Santucci. He's muted, but by the time I finish talking, he will be unmuted.
I wasn't sure if my mustache was up to the show today.
Oh my goodness.
Last time the barflies gave me a hard time about my mustache.
Yeah, it's gone from the Hitler style to a little bit more Mussolini.
Yeah, I know. I'm seeing Coach Eberflus as stylist.
There you go.
Before the summer's over, he's going to have the stash like you mentioned, Mussolini and Hitler. He's going to be like the guy from Japan before it's over with. The Emperor. It's another World War II reference. No one's listening.
By the way, I'm sorry because I was reading this. As soon as I saw, I really apologize, Dan, but soon as I saw that Canada is full nudity, I started to plan a trip to Toronto.
A little distracted.
I'm sorry, Dan. What was it that you said?
I was just he made a Hitler Mussolini. I said, well, his next goal will be look like the Emperor from Japan. But he's got the trifecta, you know.
Yeah, I get it. Ito, right? What was his name? Ito.
He said he was a god up there.
Stuff, you know, the moving stuff has been terrible. You know, it's like a week and a half of packing, lifting. My back was destroyed. The allergens are everywhere. I can't find anything. I found some stuff I hadn't seen in years, and now I can't find stuff I need every day. That's how it is.
Jesus.
That's the way it goes.
But you are sleeping in the new residence, though, right?
Yeah.
All right, so technically the move is done. Now you're just in unpacking mode.
Unpacking mode, organizing all that stuff, putting, I don't know what I'll do. Hanging towel rings and curtain rods and toilet paper rolls and, trying to fix the shower water pressure, the low flow water pressure of the shower head.
Oh my God.
It sucks. But that we had a big backyard. That's our backyard.
That is awesome, Tooch.
Yeah. There with a gray house there on the right. We had Alita's birthday. She just turned 8.
You say Alito, the Supreme Court justice?
No, my daughter, 8 years old.
You named her after a Supreme Court justice?
I'm just kidding you, man. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
She's 8 years old. She's very talented. She drew this tonight.
Oh,
8 years old. That's like better. That's better than I could do, and I'm 50. I'm gonna be 56 phenomenal. On Thursday. So
it looks like a crying bear, which is what us fans have been doing for a long time. But clearly,
I don't want to bring down the tone of the show.
That is good. She's talented, man.
Very talented. Yeah, she's very talented.
Can you get her to do the Caleb Williams bear claw thing with the hand?
Yeah, I could have her draw a little Caleb Williams.
No, we want her doing that around the house, we're making your daughter's Bears fans. What we're trying to do here.
I shared this with Dan. I found my Mitch socks.
You can sell those to Mike North.
I'm gonna sell. Yeah, for Mike's birthday. I'm gonna ship those to Mike for his birthday.
I love it.
Yeah, I can't believe I bought those.
I can't believe it either.
Wow.
Yeah,
I can't believe that Dan didn't buy those.
I'm still wearing my Steve Stenstrom socks. No, I'm kidding.
It's a different time back then, 2017. John Fox and Dowell Loggins and a fresh Mitch Trubisky.
Do you think Cutler would have been more understood or liked if they'd have been on Hard Knocks with him here?
Yeah. No.
No, because he would have fucking showed up late for his interviews with HBO. He would have been sulky. He wouldn't have answered good questions.
He was so good on that. What was that one with his ex-wife or whatever?
Yeah.
He was like the star of that show.
Yeah, something Cavallari.
Yeah, well, I don't remember what it was. Some in the chat room has it. It was like growing up Cavallari or something.
Yeah, because I think it was named after her shop, but something like that. But he didn't start really opening up with the media when his career was coming to a close, and he knew the only thing I can probably do for a living is work at the media, so I better start fucking taking my medication. That is so wild. By the way, we've got some excellent comments here. Oliver wants to know, but can you touch the coochie? Another one.
I don't know. I thought that was a reference to me there for a minute, and then I understand it's like talking about stripping.
There you go.
It's your porn days. It's your porn days we're talking about.
Well, by the way, when you were doing in the pornographic industry, did you go out on the road and do strip shows?
I touched the Tucci.
Kenny says that you look like Sylvester Stallone got a face full of bees.
I feel like Sylvester Stallone got a face full of. I'm still like the allergens say me I'm all puffy. Oh, it's horrible.
You can tell you're still a little puffy. Yeah.
Dogwood is flying around here. Now it's raining. Like when we moved, it was like the worst rainstorm I've seen in like 20 years.
Oh,
two of them. Of course, it had to be the day I moved. The movers are here.
We got it here a day later. Yeah, it was bad.
Brutal. Yeah.
Don Burr once went to a nude strip joint in Illinois, and the chick farted on his lap. She could smell Detroit on you. That's
she
why.
Fucking hates the Lions, Don.
Exactly. All right, so Tooch, you've got a Bears State of Affairs. You told us it was going to be centered on. So I can't wait to hear this. And then we'll be talking about Hard Knocks. Get your Hard Knocks thoughts together, chat room. Here we go.
Listen, if the Chicago Bears were as smart as they think they are, they would draft the Tooch at number 1. No one is better. He's a lot better than those filthy animals, Dan and Aldo. Go get them, Tooch. Go get them.
All right, I'm not muted. Okay, good.
Good start.
Yeah, Bears.
I'm a filthy fucking animal, too.
Yeah, Bears State of Affairs 2024 NFL offseason week. Oh, fucking cares. The Bears are going to be on Hard Knocks. Yes! Woo! It's happening. Yes. Oh, wow. What's happened to Barflies? Well, early last week, the Chicago Bears were announced as a team. They'll be featured on HBO's Hard Knocks. Yeah. Mm-hmm. First, they tried to fake us out with that New York Giants Hard Knocks BS. But in hindsight, it was always the Bears. Yeah, they were always the most logical choice. Right? Yeah. How about it? The logical choice, the Bears on Hard Knocks. Come on. Is there any other logical choice, Mr. Dan Aguirre? Yeah, with the advent of the Caleb Williams era, the Bears had that it factor. I'm going to go out on a limb and say that this will be the most watched Hard Knocks ever. You've got plenty of time to prepare, too. The first episode of Hard Knocks with the Bears, it's scheduled to begin August 6th, Tuesday night. So throw some frozen Lou Malnati's in the chest freezer, stock up on popcorn and beer, and get prepared to enter the Bears clubhouse as an HBO voyeur.
Yeah.
Woo! This is a super exciting time for Chicago Bears fans. And the excitement just keeps on growing. And not just because Rich Eisen said today that he thinks that Caleb Williams could take the Bears team to a Super Bowl. It's because Bears fans will be getting a unique look behind the scenes of their favorite team. And man, I got to tell you, I have hoped and prayed for this moment. Yeah, we've all hoped and prayed for this moment in Bears Barn for many years. We never thought we'd see it.
I do not deny that my heart has greatly desired this.
Yeah, here in the part we talked about wanting the Bears to do Hard Knocks for more than a few years because after many years of resistance, mainly from ownership, it felt like the Bears would never do the damn show. Yeah, like other teams, the Bears' aversion to stem from a reluctance to invite all of the distractions that come with the crew extensively filming team operations. Because, with all the Bears' recent success, no one at the Bears wants those team secrets getting out. Yeah, right? Yeah. Ooh. Although the Bears fans may love seeing their team on Hard Knocks, there's usually some negativity surrounding it from players, coaches, and executives, because many of them feel the show adds an element of distraction. And with the Bears having a rookie quarterback coming in who will try to turn this franchise into a winner with his play, the Bears would like to make sure that his first NFL training camp goes as well as possible. And maybe the reluctance stems from a certain disturbing trend. This trend point toward the Bears not winning the Super Bowl this year, not even making it to the NFC Championship, came because appearing on Hard Knocks has been the TV equivalent of a Madden video game box curse.
Oh, God.
Nope.
Let's hope not. I'm sorry to speak that into existence. Forgive me. But here we are. The Bears will be on the training camp edition of Hard Knocks. While there may be a couple other teams that will be featuring other variations of the show later on during the season, make no mistake, the series that takes place during training camp and preseason is the big one, with all the juicy stories and drama as players fight for roster spots. Yeah, but aside from that, Bears ownership's reluctance to do the show, Bears management was overwhelmingly positive about the team doing Hard Knocks. Quote, Hard Knocks training camp with the Chicago Bears will provide our passionate fans across the world the ability to experience this unique and critical time in the history of our franchise, said Bears team president Kevin Warren, leaving no doubt that Kevin Warren is now calling the shots, man. Woo! It's not George. Yeah, Bears GM Ryan Pohl's statement was, quote, the 2024 training camp will be big for us in preparation for achieving our season goals, and we look forward to bringing the fans at home along for the journey. Yeah, noticeably absent from the statements was Chairman George McCaskey, who has been against having the series for a long time.
That's right.
But he and the Bears just could not escape it this year. Of all the eligible teams who could be forced to do the program this year, the Bears, the Broncos, and the Saints, the Bears were the most compelling by far. And George McCaskey, I'm sure he knew that, but he didn't like it. But don't you worry. Oh, no, old George will forget all about his no hard knocks rule when he cashes that $300 million check from HBO and the team jersey sales set new records. Right, Georgie?
There you go. I love it.
Because bottom line, the NFL is an entertainment business. And this offseason, the Bears will provide plenty of entertainment. With all the new Bears players coming in, including 2 first-round talents at Caleb Williams and Rome Odunze, this team has a ton of intrigue. The 2 players were reportedly the number 1 and number 2 players on the Bears draft board. How lucky can you get? And since this is the first time the Bears have been featured on the show, there's a good chance that you've never watched. Yeah. Here's what you should expect, though. HBO's documentary-style HBO's documentary-style training camp show features top-notch production, narration by none other than Ray Donovan himself, Leo Schreiber. Yeah. Yeah, I love his voice, man, and it's second to a Dan Aguirre, and a seemingly unlimited budget for music and footage. Yeah,
I think I came in at the wrong time. I heard.
I'll finish that. It's a dildo. You get ready for sick montages of Caleb throwing darts to Keenan Allen, DJ Moore, and Rome Odunze, set to the latest hip soundtrack selections. We'll probably get a Caleb Williams workout montage while camera crews film his coaching sessions and practices. That rookie quarterback is poised to become the Bears' biggest star and maybe the league's brightest new star. Seeing the rookie acclimate to life in the NFL and handle those expectations will be fascinating television.
I love it.
We'll also surely get the rookie talent competition. Most teams cruelly make their rookies perform skits, music, or some hidden skill in front of the veterans. Yeah, some of the best moments on Hard Knocks over the years have been the rookie talent shows. Let's not forget the Bears will head to Canton later this summer to take on the Houston Texans in the Hall of Fame game, which is the annual start to the preseason slate. A few days later, 3 beloved members of the Bears organization, Devin Hester, Steve McMichael, and Julius Peppers, will be inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame. That should make for some incredible television for Bears fans. Bears fans will also see beloved rookie players getting cut. These moments provide arguably the bread and butter of the show. HBO will undoubtedly find a fan favorite who's trying to make the team and then follow him into the coach's room to watch his dreams dashed. It's sad to watch, but it's riveting television. However, Want to know what's really on Bears fans' minds this offseason? Matt Eberflus's offseason makeover. Yeah. If you haven't noticed, Coach Flus has entirely changed his look this offseason. He's now rocking a sculpted gray beard and new hairstyle. It looks like a completely different guy, to be honest. And if Aldo and I don't get to see his daily regimen of styling, trimming, and moisturizing, Hard Knocks will be a major disappointment.
Exactly. Keep it together, Tooch. Keep it together.
2024 is a big year for the Bears. In fact, the Bears are long overdue for a rebirth. Hopefully this rebirth is one of offensive production, because in 9 of the last 10 seasons, the Bears have finished outside the top 20 in offensive production. Hopefully this rebirth is one where the Bears finally solve the quarterback curse that has bedeviled the team since the 1940s. Grizzled fans like the barkeeper and myself are longing to shake off the Super Bowl shuffle era Bears of Ditka in the fridge and step out into a new era. We're hoping to see the Bears build an era of sustained success, playoff victories, and Pro Bowl level quarterback play, and that is Bears state of affairs.
Well, I gotta believe that's encouraging to hear, right?
I've got to commend the Tooch. I really, really do. His Bears state of affairs are great. They're even better now that my infrastructure bill helped improve his internet, you ungrateful piece of shit.
You know, the thing that I use to create those little lip syncers and stuff, it's programmed so that Joe Biden has like these really long pauses. Sometimes I gotta like speed it up. Yes.
Well, I had to come back with a splash tonight, Aldo.
Yeah, that was fantastic. It was fantastic. And you know what else is fantastic is a couple of comments that I heard while you were doing. Nikki says Tucci's facial hair has more empty spaces than a Kmart parking lot.
Very sad.
What's going on there?
It's alopecia. It's like gray. Some of these hairs are clear, for God's sakes. There's not
right?
even white.
Yeah, I was thinking about.
I'm just gonna get rid of it.
I was thinking about dyeing mine because you touch yours up a little.
Oh
right?
yeah. My wife does it for me. Yep.
That's nice. I'm thinking about doing that too. What about you, Dan? Do you do it with your pubic hair?
Pubic hair is still a solid brown, dark brown. So.
Oh, nice.
No grays.
All those at my age.
Yeah. That'll happen now that you're remarried. It'll happen any day now. Let's see. Okay, let's talk about Hard Knocks.
Donovan has entered the chat.
Yeah, thank you, Ray. Really appreciate you being here. Let's talk about Hard Knocks. I guess everybody's concern is this going to retard the progress that the quarterback is making? You know, we saw what happened with the Lions 2 seasons ago when they were on. They lost their first 6, 7, 8 games, whatever it was, and finished the season strong. But a lot of people, you know, like Tooch said in his state of affairs, you know, there's concern that it could hamper, at the very least, the start of the season for the Chicago Bears. So start with you, Dan. What do you think about that? Do you think there's some danger here?
I feel like our quarterback welcomes the attention, though. Maybe that's a good thing. Maybe it proves to be a bad thing. I don't think that the cameras are going to shake him. Now, if this was the Mike Glennon era of the Bears or even Trubisky, I feel like it could have hurt them. Maybe even Fields to a degree, because Justin is, well, unless I'm wrong, he doesn't seem as, as affable as Caleb. Mm-hmm. Caleb seems to welcome any and all attention. So I think it's a win-win. I mean, at least we hope we can defy those expectations of like a Madden curse.
Yeah. You agree with that, Tooch?
Yeah, I agree with that. But I just realized that Mike Glennon and ratings killer are synonymous.
That's right. I totally agree that, Caleb, because he made so much money with NIL, he's been in front of the cameras, he's so comfortable with who he is and stuff.
This shouldn't really,
impact him. His biggest goal is to be to break Tom Brady's record, and he's smart enough and well trained, for lack of a better word, the parenting and coaching that he's had over the years, to know that the only way he's going to do that is through hard work on the practice field, in the film room, and so forth. So I don't think that's going to be an issue. If I thought it was going to be an issue with any of the players, maybe some of the cocky defensive backfield guys, who love, kidding around for the cameras. I don't know if that's as big a problem as it was years ago. But, I think it might impact other players, but not Caleb Williams. I really like the idea that he's going to handle that well. Who would you like to see Hard Knocks focus on? They do profiles every, sometimes they'll pick a player to follow throughout camp to see if he makes the team. Sometimes they'll pick on veterans to share their backstory and their experiences and so forth. Tooch, start with you. Who would you love to see Hard Knocks focus on, whether it's a young player or a veteran or someone in between?
I mean, there's some layups here, like you could pick like a veteran like Keenan Allen, or the big part of the big cog in the defense is Montez Sweat. But I mean, I think an obvious source of entertainment will be the punter with the Australian booming leg. But I'm struggling to see, I haven't really gotten into the rookies who may or may not make the roster.
Right.
But, one guy I think might be that Illinois defensive tackle. I'd like to see him.
Randolph?
Keith Randolph. Is that his name? Yeah. Keith Randolph?
I think it's Keith, yeah.
Something like that. Yeah, I'd like to see that.
What about you, Dan?
And focus on a gentleman who was brought here to return kicks, and he just can't stop fumbling. Could this be the time we see HBO shows us Eberflus Jones, bring your playbook?
Mm-hmm.
Or Eberflus Jones overcome 2 years of just doo-doo to become a stud. So to me, Eberflus is a guy you follow because he's either going to get cut or holy shit, like he's figured it out,
Mm-hmm. Yeah. The Willis twins talked about this on Friday, and one of the coaches that they brought up that I think was a good idea is Richard Hightower, the special teams coach. He is so infectious. He's so rah. He's so, he's grateful for any opportunity he gets. And with the new special teams rules, and he was part of the committee that helped to shape those rules, and he has played on those rules because he was a coach with the XFL for a while. He could be offering some good stories and then talking about some of the guys fighting for special teams jobs. He would be an excellent. And then as far as the veterans, I'd love to see more of Keenan Allen. Him talking about his 9-10 years in the NFL, playing under Justin Herbert and Phillip Rivers. You got to have some good stories there, right? And comparing them to Caleb will be interesting. On the defensive side,
how about some Kyler Gordon?
Kyler Gordon, exactly, Mr. Spider-Man. HBO could make that guy a star because I think he's got star quality, and especially if he gets off to a great start in the season. So absolutely, there's some great personalities here.
The Willis guys tell you the story after our show on Friday, like Sean Higgs, the barroom handicapper, real professional handicap. He stuck around to troll the Willis brothers.
Yeah.
And, he ended up enjoying the show so much he donated $100.
He donated $100 to the Willis Towers, and so I thank him very much. I'd love to have him on this show. He seems like the kind of guy that could not only talk about why he thinks
he's a Cowboys fan.
That's right. But he doesn't think the Bears are going to win 7 games this season.
No, he doesn't.
Him on the under 6.5.
That scares me, but yeah.
So I'd love to see him and Dan go at it for a while.
Yeah, Rich Eisen would have something to say about that, though, right?
I was going to pull that clip and I forgot, but yeah, Rich Eisen says that the ceiling for the Bears this season is winning a Super Bowl, and maybe he was just saying that
be our Super Bowl shuffle.
Yeah. Cliff says, "Yeah, I want the $100. Donate $100. We'll give it all to the Tooch and Dan.
That'll go a long way in heavenly bodies, Cliff."
That's right. Golly, when I first went to Heavenly Bodies, there was no cover charge, and the beers were like $2 or $3. It was like, whoa, this is fucking great. And the lap dances were $5. If you wanted to go into an enclosed room, it was $10 for a lap dance. Last time I was there was 3-4 years ago. It was a $20 entry fee. You know, the beers weren't that expensive, but the lap dances had gone from $5 to $20 and blah, blah, blah. I was like, oh man, what happened to the good old days? I'd go in and have a good time for $100.
I can't wait though, man. It's like I feel like as excited as I did when like you and Dan and I will talk winning time. You know, what is that? The story of the Lakers. You know,
yes.
I would look forward to watching that show every weekend.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so now Tuesday nights. The show's on Tuesday nights though.
Yeah, okay. I think you're right.
Tuesday, or is it Sunday?
I think it is Tuesday because it's usually the day off for press conferences. So we'll have to. Shit, that sucks. I was hoping to
move our show to Wednesday, maybe.
Yeah. Carl says, I love the HBO cameras to sneak up on Allen Williams with binoculars at the park and leave saboteurs.
That was last year, though. The chance is gone now.
but he's definitely could be seen at a park somewhere.
Yeah. HBO visits former defensive coordinator Allen Williams' home.
Yeah.
A chronic masturbator, Allen Williams.
Jeffrey Tubin is visiting.
David says, Tooch, I can't stand Sean's takes on the Bears on weekend sports betting.
I think he's upset about the Justin Fields trade still.
Yeah, I think so too.
You know?
He kind of clued us in.
He liked Justin Fields, but
yeah, Cliff, I had a bad experience at Heavenly Bodies. I was there for like 2 or 3 hours and I was done. I just wanted to stay for a couple more lap dances, and the fucking waitress came over to me and says, you got to buy a drink or we have to ask you to leave. I'm going, what's the sense of that? I'm going to go home and crash into a car where I could stay here another hour or two and the girls can make some money off of me. I'm sorry. The rule is you got to order a drink every 30 minutes. Fuck that. I left and I promised never to come back. I was there the next day. The good old days. All right. So what else about Hard Knocks is, either intriguing to you or not, or gives you caution? Anything else, Dan?
Well, we've already mentioned it, considering that the other teams have struggled, and you referenced the Lions starting 0-6. Mm-hmm. I mean, maybe it's all coincidental, but it still gives you pause if everyone has struggled when they've been on. So that does feel like, ooh, I don't know if I want that, but I think it's going to be good theater. But I will say after the first episode, I'm going to be more concerned about getting married 2 days later on August 8th.
That's right.
Yeah. But I'm looking forward to it, man. I think it's going to be good. Again, at least we have somebody we can be proud of on there. It's not going to be somebody like, oh man, Hard Knocks with Mike Glennon,
No shit.
Or even Trubisky, or you're just like, he looks so lost out there when the camera's on him. Like, we got a guy that's going to embrace that now.
Right. The other thing is, obviously going to feature Caleb because he's the star. But I wouldn't mind them doing a feature segment on Tyson Bagent because that guy is an interesting guy too. And what he's done during the offseason to get in better shape, the backstory with his father being an arm wrestling champion and how his father is such a fucking promoter of his son and stuff. That's a great storyline too. And by the way, Tyson, if you're listening and want to come in, or Tyson's father, you want to come in and be a part of
Dan is
this
from West Virginia. You're from West Virginia. Let's Mountain State it up. How about that?
Yeah, there you go. I'll send that to the Bajents.
Yeah.
Maybe we get him on the show. That'd be fun. Got anybody from Iowa that we can get on to? Oh, the punter. Yeah, he's from Iowa.
Yeah.
We should reach out to him.
Hey, that arm wrestling champion, Tyson's dad.
Yeah.
We could set up a match between him and John Buffone's brother with the power grip. It'd be like watching Stallone and Over the Top. Who you got? Who's going to win the arm wrestling match? I might go with Sam Buffone.
There you go. That would be, because Sam Buffone, man, almost broke a couple of my phalanges in my hand. That guy's grip was so incredible. Jeez. Agent Orange would be a feature that we should do here on either on HBO or here at the Barroom. All right, so let's move on from HBO. I still have some more clips I would like to share with you guys. This is Montez Sweat to talk about Montez and from Montez.
This is your first offseason here. Nobody here knows what your offseason routine is. Obviously, you do. You know what it takes to get your body right. What is it and why you choose to stay away until now?
It's just a regimen that I built upon my years being in the league. I was in great contact with Coach Flus, Coach Washington, and my position coach, Coach Trav, and also with the guys in the building, just staying on tune with the installs and all that type of stuff. So it's almost like I didn't miss a beat.
Montez is in a good spot. Obviously his talent level is there, and our system and the way our culture is, really lets guys play at their highest level. Meaning that we're gonna make sure that guys play at a max effort, a max intensity, max preparation, because that's the way we do it. We don't walk by mistakes here. We don't let things slide. It doesn't matter if you're Montez or you're DJ or you're Caleb. That doesn't matter. We have a standard of how we operate, and it's coached by the coaches and enforced by the players. So it's important that, and he understood that right coming into it. That he was very clear with our message of how we do things, and he bought into it, and he got better every single week, and we anticipate that this year too.
Just picking up, we're trying to pick up where we left off from last year. We lost two great guys up front, Justin Johnson and Yannick Ngokwe, but we got some young guys that's really stepping up, and a experienced guy like Jake Martin that's really making some noise out there. So yeah, I'm pretty excited on what I'm seeing, honestly.
Isn't that funny that he's saying I've been in touch with the guys and stuff, and then he gets Justin Jones's name wrong? Awesome, Justin Johnson.
Well, he mispronounced Ngakwe's name too, didn't
he? Yes, he did. Yes, I've been,
When I saw him, I was like, God damn, you forget how big Sweat is. Montez Sweat is just a fucking mountain of a man.
Yeah, he was like, you're the guy who couldn't cover Njoku in the Browns game. That guy.
Yeah.
Justin Johnson.
I thought it was a great question by her because, we all want to know, all right, why weren't you here, dude? You're making all this fucking money and stuff. And while I'm still not 100% satisfied with the answer, I'd love for these guys who are making the big time bucks to invest, work their schedule around these OTAs, because I think you get paid for the big money not only because of your performance, but also because you're being asked to play a leader's role. And so come out here, talk to the young defensive linemen, to hang out with the coaches, work out here. I understand he's got his own routine. He's got his own regimen. It's what's helped him become such a great player. But I would love to see him more at Hallis Hall and building that team camaraderie, building that team spirit, and getting to know his teammates so that maybe he can inspire them to play as well as he does. But Cliff says, leave Sweat alone. He'll be fine. I hear. I'm done, Cliff. I won't do it again. I promise. Yeah, it sounds like Ngakwe might not be coming back. There's a lot of speculation there. But
listen to Greg Gabriel's show today.
Yeah, but he did say Dan Wiederer reported that the Bears have been in contact with Ngakwe to monitor how he's recovering from the ankle surgery. But Brad Biggs, on the other hand, from the same newspaper, same website, said the Bears are probably not going to bring Ngakwe back. So it's kind of interesting. Is the proper way of pronouncing his name is Yannick Ngakwe, right?
Yep.
So we're all
very proud of you after that, Soldo.
I'm still working on that offensive lineman.
Disasters in the past. That was really good though.
Yeah, I'm still working on Kiran Amagaji.
Amagaji.
And it's to me, I could see the phonetic spelling in front of me, and I still fuck it up. Dan, when you're doing your radio show, you do your weekly high school football. How do you pronounce those names from those high school players?
If there's something that I don't get, I'll attempt to reach out to the team's Twitter or try to get a hold of their coach. Or sometimes the kids themselves have Twitter, and I'll ask, hey, man, I'm sorry, I work for local radio. Did I get the proper enunciation of your name? And, sometimes the kids answer, sometimes they don't. And then in that situation, I got to give it my best go because I've certainly been there. Like, man, I've had 4 overtures since Monday and radio silence. You just do with what you can do.
Right. Well, you've done some stuff for me. I sent you a script and, it's like 11 o'clock or whatever time, 10 o'clock when you get to it. And you sent me text, hey, man, I'm about to record this. How do you pronounce this guy's name? And I'm like, holy shit, this was 20 minutes ago. He's probably pissed off at me. Fleck says he pronounces the name Bye Bum.
Wow.
He doesn't like
I gotta get
Yannick
somebody
Ngakoue.
opposite Montez Sweat. So I mean, whether it's waiting for teams to release, a surprising name at defensive end,
right?
Somebody will be picked up.
Yeah. Well, Jeremy Fowler of ESPN reported that expect the Bears to make a big time acquisition sometime soon. I'm paraphrasing what he said. So it could be that they might trade one of those second round draft picks for a veteran defensive end, like a 1-year rental, like Keenan Allen. It could be just a signing of Ngakoue. I don't know, but
why do we have to always spend these high draft picks? Why can't we for rental players? Why can't we give them like a 4th or 6th round or something?
Yeah, right.
That's what we always end up getting.
Right. Great point. Like, what did we get for Khalil Mack?
Yeah. We got pretty good for Khalil, but
what did we get? I don't remember.
I think we got a 2nd round pick.
Yeah, we got a second. It ended up becoming the safety that's always hurt, number 9, Brisker.
Brisker, yeah.
That's always hurt.
But I mean, like, I forget who else.
He's hurt every game. Every game he's laid down. I'm not saying he doesn't have heart. He's not a good player, but I worry about his longevity because every game he's just laid out. I mean, you're like, oh no, he's going to be out for 4 to 6 weeks, but after commercial break, he's back.
Yeah, I agree with you. I am worried too about his longevity, which is one of the reasons I wanted the Bears to draft a scout in that a safety in that 4th round and stuff. But I definitely like the punter. You guys are still feeling good about the punter, the kid from Iowa, the Australian. I agree with Tooch. He should be a feature on Hard Knocks because you're going to bring in all those Australian fans because HBO is worldwide.
I saw him kick one out of the atmosphere today on Twitter. It's like, holy shit! I think it left the planet.
He really is amazing. He has learned to use his kicking foot like golfers use different clubs. He can make the ball stop on a bounce or two, and that's amazing to do. Crocodile punter. Cliff has a nickname.
Crocodile punter.
And the other punter had no charisma and no game. So I'm glad he's gone.
He used to worry the hell out of me, that last guy.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah. He would take so many steps. I thought it would get blocked almost every punt.
Yeah.
If you remember, Aldo, the game we went to, wasn't that the Dolphin game? Didn't he have a block punt for a touchdown?
Oh, yes, he did. That's right.
Yeah, that ended up costing us the game, man.
That was Trenton Gill. Yeah, I think you're right. Somebody's asking about what do you think about a Khalil Mack reunion? Dobbsy is asking that question. So I'm looking up his price tag. His contract for this year is about $9 million. So it would be cheap, but you could get him just for the 2024 season. But I don't know if the Chargers want to give him up. You guys don't like Khalil Mack? I know Dan.
No.
It's a little bit cost prohibitive,
Remember, he was listed as the 60th best Bear of all time. After that 1 year in the Bears 100th, it's still to that. It makes me want to kill somebody who wrote that.
Yeah, it was either Don Pearson or Dan Pompei.
God, it's just amazing. If somebody likes you, the narrative just gets written, doesn't it? It doesn't matter about facts or anything.
Yeah, it's weird because that first season he had with the Bears, that first 10 games or so, whatever it was, he was just fucking fabulous. There's no doubt. He had probably one of the best debuts of a Bear player.
Let's not forget the Bears still blew an 18-point lead in that game and lost.
Exactly. And he was winded by, the fourth quarter. And so I remember him chasing down a ball carrier for the Packers. It was like he gave up, well before the guy crossed the goal line. But that was still a phenomenal debut, and the Bears did lose. But I think they ranked him number 60 just based off of that first season. After that, he showed flashes, but it was never what we.
Who's more overrated, Matt Nagy after his Coach of the Year, or our friend Mr. Mack?
That's a great question. What do you say, Tooch?
Definitely Matt Nagy, I think.
More overrated.
Mac at least.
Does that mean Matt Nagy was Coach of the Year?
Yeah.
Coach of the fucking year. I mean, or Khalil Mack. Who's the most overrated? I mean, the 60th best Bear of all time. Khalil Mack. What a farce.
I think it has to be Matt Nagy, just simply because Khalil Mack, at the very least, came back last season and was one of the league leaders in sacks. Hey, King Pookie Nation, how are you? So he's got at least that going for him. Now you can say, well, Nagy has won a couple of Super Bowls since he left the Bears. No, he hasn't. That's Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes and a couple of other people. King Pookie Nation wants to know if you're masturbating. Why would he ask that?
Not anymore.
What? Is Dan masturbating? Do I sound like I'm masturbating right now or something?
No, it's because of your open that you love the Bears more than you did masturbating.
Jesus God.
But it is weird. King Pookie sends me a DM on Twitter and says, "Hey, is Dan masturbating? Is that why you guys didn't have a show today?" And I go, "Yeah." I responded back and said, "Yeah, he got some cum in his eye." So
yeah,
and then I thought he would respond back with an LOL, but he didn't respond to that.
I've had an Oakland Raiders patch on for weeks.
King is the best, man. Watch, the next thing he will put up on chat is totally something way out of left field. A non sequitur from Topeka, Kansas. He'll ask if I'm going to go to the movies or something. I don't know what, but he's a great guy. King Pookie Nation. Dan and I actually got to meet him.
I met him twice.
I was
there.
Yep, I got
that's right. Tooch was there too. That's right. That first day.
Miller's Pub.
Yep,
exactly.
exactly.
Was that the city, or was that like Norridge or something?
Yeah, it was right Norridge, Chicago border.
Harlem, somewhere around there. Harlem Avenue.
Right on Harlem and near Foster
somewhere
Avenue.
around there, yeah.
They had the big Jim McMahon jersey in there.
Yeah, that's right. All right, let's see what else I got here, soundbite wise, so we can react to. This was Flus early on in the press
I
conference.
gotta go check on the girls upstairs real quick.
All right, this one's 2 minutes
It's like
long.
I'm in the basement office, but they're upstairs in the bedroom.
That's right. You are in a totally new setup here, so the green screen looks wonderful as ever.
Widescreen puffiness.
Does that mean now, since they're not in the same room, that you can join us early in the show?
Possibly, yeah. If they can behave, but sometimes they jump on the ceiling right above. It's really loud. Like when I was doing Friday's show with Sean and Anthony, it was like they were jumping up there. I had to mute. I let the other guys talk for a bunch of times. But yeah,
that's funny. All right, you go check on them, and I'll play this soundbite from what's his name.
All right,
get out of here. There it is. Okay, this is Flus getting a little wonky with a question here about determining what you have as a football team.
Well, it's a good thing that our quarterback's highly competitive, right? And he's of high character. And so he's
all right. So he was asked, how do you balance the fact that you've got a offense that is just starting to get together and learn, the playbook and so forth, with the defense that is rolling on all cylinders.
Well, it's a good thing that our quarterback's highly competitive, right? And he's of high character. And so he's going to be pushing that ball down the court. So I don't think we have to worry about that. I really don't. I think that we'll be pacing this thing at a pretty fast pace like we've done already. And I've seen the progress in him. I know you guys have only been out for a couple of practices, but I'm sure you guys have seen it too. And it's really nice to have the older skill players, like Keenan, Gerald, Cole, all the older guys that are surrounding him. And what a great job Ryan Poles and his staff have done to add those guys to really help him push that pace together. So it's really about growing together. It's about having that continuity together and really feeling the skill sets. And then once we get the skill sets down to feel what we can do offensively, then we have to leverage those things as our strengths. And that's not necessarily every single week we have to leverage that particular strength, but we have enough options now so we can leverage other ones to still find a formula for winning. So I think that once we get that down, and again, that takes time, that'll take the whole process all the way through training camp to get that done, to feel out those skill sets and to feel out where we can leverage and where we can't.
With that said, what kind of feel can you get for the capability of the offense when you have the full complement of his receivers, whether it's DJ, Keenan being here today, Rome, as you mentioned, Gerald and Cole too? What can you gauge anything at this point, or is it still too early to know how all of that's going to look?
I think you start to gauge, a little bit in small measures. It's not we haven't had a bunch of practices together, but and then once. And I'll say it again, once we get the pads on, we'll be able to see that with a clear eye. But you have to have some clarity of who you have, I think, number one. And then you look and see what you can, gather later in training camp to maybe fill a hole here and there to complement those guys. But we'll see where that goes. Yeah, we're in the process of that right now, Brad.
Geez, he was just going on and on. It got really wonky, but I thought it might be of interest to you guys. Now I think I should not have played that. That was 2 minutes of our lifetime. We'll never get back.
I heard some of it when I came back. He said you have to see it with the clear eye. I thought he said you have to see it with the queer eye. For the straight guy.
That's what. Yeah, if he doesn't, I don't like this new beard and I don't know what's up with his hair. Can you just shave your face, bro? I mean, I know you're trying to. You lost weight. I get it, and. You didn't get fired and everyone wanted you fired, but can you please just shave? When I looked at him, I'm not even listening to him. I'm like, please shave.
I want to know who the brave guy in the Bears PR department that said, "Coach, you really need a makeover. Let me hook you up."
Well, according to him, he said it was his wife that it was her idea to come up with that look. I agree with you guys. I don't like it. The beard doesn't bother me so much, but the fucking
better than the gym teacher. He was a fucking gym teacher before. It's like,
Cliff says he likes the look. Flus looks cool now, and I've heard a couple of people say that on Hard Knocks they hope that they see him getting groomed. I'm like, really? You really want to see that?
Why did his wife take so long?
Yeah, that's right. She was probably having sex with somebody else.
Yeah.
Coach Flus, when are all these Caleb Williams jersey orders going to be shipped?
Yeah. The reason I said that joke is I saw a clip from a movie. I don't know the title of the movie, but it was a Tyler Perry movie, and it was on TikTok. Somebody sent it to me, or I don't know how I got it. But anyway, Tyler Perry is telling his wife, he says, you know what, on June 16th, all of a sudden our relationship changed. She goes, what are you talking about? You started wearing nicer clothes, tighter clothes, shorter skirts, a really exotic perfume and so forth. Are you fucking Joe? And she goes, why would you say that? He goes, because the other night we made love, the best love we ever had. And I think that you were thinking about Joe. And then she starts crying and stuff. It's like, busted. So that's why I said that maybe Mrs. Eberflus is having sex with somebody else.
Are you a fan of the Tyler Perry movies? I find them to just be awful.
No, I like Tyler Perry in Gone Girl, where he plays Ben Affleck's lawyer and trying to solve the murder mystery. But outside of that, I don't know if I've ever even seen a Tyler Perry movie.
God, my mom liked those Medea movies, and I just think they're fucking awful.
And he personally made hundreds of millions of dollars off of that. So good power to him. He owns a big movie studio down in Atlanta. So he's done good. Your mom was a fan, huh?
Yeah, I hate those movies.
He's in drag for those, right?
Yes,
It's
yes,
like,
he is.
Mrs. Doubtfire in Big Mama's house or whatever. I love that stuff, man.
You
With
love
Ron DeSantis.
you
Right,
love
Carl.
drag movies? What's your favorite drag movie, Tooch?
It's got to be Mrs. Doubtfire, no?
Has to be Mrs. Doubtfire. What about the one with Tony Curtis and Jesus? And Marilyn Monroe's in it. Tony Curtis and Jack Lemmon are in drag throughout the entire movie.
My favorite drag movie is the Michael Caine De Palma film.
Oh,
Dressed to Kill.
Yeah,
Yes.
Excellent. Yep.
How about the one with Wesley Snipes and Patrick Swayze and John Leguizamo? I never watched that. Like Tu Wong Fu. Thanks for everything, Julie Newmar. Yeah, I never watched that.
I never watched it either, despite the fact I am a huge Julie Newmar fan. I mean, she was one of the sexiest.
The Catwoman.
The Catwoman.
Oh my God, so sexy. Some Like It Hot. Thank you, Nikki. That's a good movie.
Of course, everybody loves Tim Curry in the Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Psycho, right?
You know what? I've never seen Rocky Horror Picture Show. Never seen it.
I don't think you're missing anything. It's like, to me, I said this.
Understood it. So the attraction.
Fucking like girls that like rock music or goth girls in my lifetime. There's 3 movies that they just fucking worship. It's Rocky Horror Picture Show, The Nightmare Before Christmas, and The Crow. And to a certain degree, that Gene Wilder movie where the chocolate, or the Chocolate Factory, Willy Wonka.
Willy Wonka. Yeah.
I hate all of these movies. Like, I don't like any of it. Well, I don't hate Rocky Horror. The first half hour is good, then it just goes way off the rails, and it's so overrated to me.
I've never seen The Crow with Bruce Lee's son. And
So bad. It's so overrated.
Yeah.
I went to the movies.
Too. Didn't he die during the movie?
Yeah, that's unfortunate, but the movie's still not good.
Yeah. I saw that it's being re-released because there's a new version of the movie coming out later, and so the theater is going to play the original for a couple of weeks before the release of the new version of it. So maybe I'll check them out because they have a cult following.
Another one that all those chicks like is fucking Edward Scissorhands. I hate that too.
I like that movie.
You're not a Tim Burton fan, huh?
I liked Beetlejuice fine, but
Is
no.
there a Beetlejuice, like a new movie coming, or
Yes,
or a sequel?
I saw it was on that too. It looked pretty good.
But also Tim Burton, or
it's also Tim Burton, yes. And Jenna Ortega, who was Wednesday on the Netflix series based on the Addams Family show. She's in the cast along with Winona Ryder.
She's Winona's daughter in it.
Oh, okay. Great cast.
The movie was so off the wall, like out there when it came out. You know,
Beetlejuice, yes.
What was it? 1991 or something?
88.
88. Okay, it's somewhere around there. I can't remember.
And everyone's favorite pedophile, Jeffrey Jones, was in it.
Yeah, and
alleged pedophile.
Catherine O'Hara.
Alec Baldwin.
Yep, Alec Baldwin.
And Gina Davis.
Gina Davis, yeah, Julie Davis. Gina Davis, yeah.
A great cast and a great soundtrack.
Yeah.
Yeah, Winona Ryder. By the way, I went to go see the new Michael Keaton. Yeah, of course, he was Beetlejuice.
Yeah.
Great fucking performance.
Yeah,
now, the preview that I saw of the new Beetlejuice, he looks like a little too old to be playing the role.
No, Beetlejuice is supposed to be dead, though, right?
Yeah, but he personally
looks dead.
He looked close to it, I'll tell you that. By the way, I went to the movies with my daughter and her husband, and we saw Furiosa, the Mad Max sequel, which is
I want to see it so bad.
I fucking loved it. Now, unfortunately,
George Miller's a genius.
Yes, unfortunately, you better go quickly, Tooch, because it's bombing at the box office, so it may not be on the big screen for a while.
Why?
Yeah. The first weekend it underperformed. It only made like 27 million, and the second weekend it lost out on the box office to the Garfield the Cat movie.
God, what movie are you talking about? I didn't hear the title.
That's the sequel or prequel to Fury Road.
Right, Mad Max.
Mad Max Fury Road.
Oh, I did not like the Mel Gibson Mad Max
brilliant.
movie.
Oh no, it wasn't. This was Tom Hardy.
Oh,
Tom Hardy.
Charlize Theron, and the stunts are amazing. That might be the best stunt movie in the history of cinema.
100% agree, Tooch. 100%. I'm telling you, Dan.
It's amazing. People get run over by cars, wipe out, motorcycle.
Just for the visual sensation, it's phenomenal.
It's like a roller coaster ride for 90 minutes.
Yes.
There's
amazing. And a good story too.
Yeah.
Speaking of a good story, I told this to Nikki recently. There's a wrestler named Kevin Nash who worked in WWF and WCW. He's got a great podcast. He's a gentleman. I met him once before too. He's 6'10". He's a big guy. He's played in some movies, and he said he did a movie with Charlize Theron. And he said she had the worst feet he had ever seen. And especially for a big star, he said her feet are busted. He said she's got terrible feet.
Who said that?
Kevin Nash, the wrestler.
Oh, okay. I thought Quentin Tarantino said that.
He would never cast her.
Yeah, no way. He's a foot fetish guy from some of the shots.
Does anyone know the story yet of why the critic was they just stopped it?
Yeah, that was supposed to be Tarantino's 10th and last movie. Apparently, he was having some issues with getting the story right. This was going to be a movie based on an LA independent movie critic who did reviews of porn movies and Hollywood movies and so forth. And from what I read, he couldn't get things quite right. And he felt like, nah, I don't want to do this. He's changed his mind on many movies many times. So he now is thinking about doing something else.
I hope it's not another Kill Bill movie.
Oh, better not be.
His last movie was what, The Hateful Eight, or was it Once Upon a Time?
Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, which was great.
Yeah, great. The Hateful Eight was great too.
I haven't seen it yet.
What?
I recently recorded it, and I'm going to watch it this week.
You can watch it serialized on Netflix. It's like
really?
Broken up into 8 episodes, I think.
Is that good?
I haven't watched it serialized. I would like to. I saw it in the theater too.
Me too.
I told this story before. Did you get the book it came with too at the movie, Dan?
I did not. I watched it New Year's Day 2015, but there was no book.
Oh, it came when I went to the show. My ticket came with a book. It was like going to a concert, like when you get one of those concert books.
Sure.
And it was like, how all the filming and what they use, the camera equipment, and all sorts of like outtake photos and stuff. And there was an intermission in the middle of the movie between Act 1 and Act 2, and they played like shadow. Like Western, like shadow puppets and like Ennio Morricone music. You went out, take a piss, and get something to eat. Come back. And stuff was great, man. It was unlike any other theater experience I ever had.
Yeah, when I went to see Apocalypse Now back in 1979, saw a 6-track audio at the Golf Mill Theater just outside Chicago. There were no credits to the movie. Coppola didn't want any credits, so you got the credits in a little pamphlet that was handed out. So that was pretty cool. By the way, Mr. Mayhem says Once Upon a Time in Hollywood made Bruce Lee into a joke, and so screwed that movie. What do you guys think about Bruce Lee's portrayal? Go ahead, Dan.
I heard, again, I don't know for certain, but I read that he had some encounter like that with a stuntman.
Exactly. I heard it was based on reality. And Tarantino says that he sourced it. Now, Bruce Lee's daughter says that fucking story isn't true. Bruce was a great guy. He never would have done that. But I heard that was based on reality, that Bruce got into a fight with a stuntman, and the stuntman beat the fuck out of him. That's pretty cool. You remember that scene, too? The Brad Pitt character grabs the Bruce Lee character and throws him into a car and dents the car. The car happens to be owned by the person that employed Brad Pitt, who then fires Brad Pitt. It's good stuff.
She was also in his Grindhouse movie, Death Proof. She's a real stunt woman. The lady that character that got pissed, that was married to Kurt Russell in the film there.
Yeah, she's got an exotic, German name or something like that.
I think she's from, is it Australia? maybe.
Is it Australia?
There were 3
Yeah.
girls in the car with Kurt Russell, right? 3 girls. And one of them was Rosario Dawson, right?
Yeah. Well, I was talking about on Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Oh,
though
okay,
she was married to Kurt Russell in that film, and made him fire Cliff Booth for fucking with Bruce Lee because it was her car, and he's the series lead, and she thought that Cliff murdered his wife. So.
Zoe Bell, that's her name.
Yeah.
Zoe Bell. She's kind of hot. She's a professional stunt woman, but has also acted in a handful of movies. Mr. Mayhem says that Tarantino is overrated. Mr. Mayhem, I respectfully disagree with you.
Man, I mean, there's no one like him. You can't, there's no other director like Quentin Tarantino. There's no other.
Aldo, show your shirt. Show your shirt.
His worlds are like exist all on their own. The universe of his movies.
Exactly. Yeah. It's funny that you're saying that, Tooch, because that's what I wanted to say about Furiosa and all of the work really by George Miller, the director. One of the things that I learned in film school back when colleges just started in America was that one of the responsibilities of a movie maker is to create a world that draws people in. Wow, this is different, and it's not like science fiction, but it could be like a police drama in that world of the cops working together. It could be whatever subject. You're creating a world that sucks people in, and that's one of the reasons I love George Miller movies, like the Babe Pig in the City movie that he did. That's crazy. Who the fuck wants to see that? I'm telling you, Dan, you'd love it. You'd love it. You and Nick.
I never saw Babe or Babe Pig in the City. Neither one.
Watch the one that's directed by George Miller.
Did you watch The Little Indian in the Cupboard? I didn't watch that either. It just popped in my head. They came out at the same time, I think.
You're right. Here's another movie George Miller made. I wanted to ask Tooch because I know Dan hasn't seen it because he's not a Miller fan. But he did a movie. The last movie he did, I think, before Furiosa was a movie with Idris Elba and Tilda Swinton.
The Genie.
Yeah, it's
like
3,000
years of service or something like that.
Or something like that. I watched it. It was a dull story, but again, that fucking world, it was really interesting.
Yeah, the acting was fantastic too.
Oh my gosh, so good. He basically plays a like Tooch said, a genie, but they call him a djinn in the movie, and he comes
I didn't know that was George Miller. I was like,
yeah, it's a George Miller. I never would have guessed it either. Yeah. But he was on George Miller was on TCM. He was promoting Furiosa, and he also programmed a double feature Saturday nights on TCM. They have celebrities come in and they program their own double feature. Like Ethan Hawke was on this Saturday, George Miller was on a week ago and stuff. It's really interesting because they talk about the movies and then you get to see the movie. It's like being at a film festival and the filmmakers are there. So it was really pretty cool. Timon Diaz says, what the hell are these movies y'all speaking? What have you guys seen that you like? People in the chat and others. Mr. Mayhem, by the way, says he likes The Indian in the Cupboard. He says it's a good movie. And Zoe Bell is from New Zealand. Thank you, Damon, for correcting us there. King Pookie Nation had a question for you, Dan Aguirre. He asked, would you masturbate to Stacey Dale? It says Stacey Dale from NFL Network. I don't think he needs to masturbate anymore. That's my job now. He's newly married. I've been married.
Aldo and I are both
married yet, but yeah, I'm working on it.
What was that?
Masturbating doesn't stop once you get married, Dan.
No.
I've been married once before. I mean, but I was as lonely as I'd ever been married the first time. So I was doing lots of masturbating during that period.
Do you anticipate continuing the masturbation after your official wedding? Do you anticipate, like, maybe once a week going down to the basement, opening up YouPorn and knocking
Not in my
out?
basement. My basement only has the hot water heater and that system to keep it dry. So there's
What a great answer. What a great answer. Not in my basement.
Not in the basement, man. You got context is king, and the basement's not the place to be spilling your semen. I don't know, man. We're pretty sexually active. I don't think I don't really need to masturbate.
I should ask her that question. Is she going to continue to masturbate?
Well, she might, but she throws it to me regularly. So
yeah, by the way, if you come to my house with one of those blue lights where you can detect semen and stuff, you'll see semen stains in just about every room in the house. I'm hoping they're all mine.
What was it? Mr. Mayhem put up The Beekeeper, which I saw recently too. That was directed by David Ayer, who did End of Watch. I don't know if you ever saw
how is that? I keep seeing it pop up on my.
It's good, man. But I know Dan hates Jason Statham.
He's not. He's one of the worst leading guys, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's good though. He did Fury. I don't know if you remember. It was a tank movie with Brad Pitt. Really good. And he's remaking the Dirty Dozen coming up. So David Ayer is the director who did The Beekeeper. Because I remember I saw that one recently. I was like, it was okay. And I was like, oh, he directed that? Wow, okay. David Ayer.
By the way, Cliff Victoria mentioned earlier in the show at 8 o'clock Central. I watched Our Man Flint and In Like Flint again. Tooch, did you ever see those movies? I doubt Dan has.
It was a little before my time.
So let me tell you real quick. James Bond movies were out and they were a big fucking hit. And so I forgot what studio made the Flint movies, but they hired James Coburn, the actor, to play a James Bond-like character.
I love some of Coburn's movies are so good.
Oh my gosh. And by the way,
actor.
Dan Aguirre would like to know this, is that Coburn is said to have a 10-inch cock. So anyway.
He deserves reverence, then, yes.
he was in a movie with, I think, Bronson, where he was a boxing promoter, bare knuckle boxing promoter. I forget the name.
That's a guy that I think is underrated is Charles Bronson.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes, he was in the Dirty Dozen.
Yeah.
Bronson was. Yeah. He did Mr. Majestic. The Mechanic is one of my favorite movies.
Which Jason
Jan Michael Vincent was in it.
That's right. The premise of The Mechanic is that Bronson plays a hitman called, they're also referred to as mechanics. And so Jan Michael Vincent becomes his protege. And then during the course of the movie, Jan Michael Vincent gets orders to kill the mechanic, Charles Bronson. It's a great movie. Great premise.
You know, the best Bronson movie, in my opinion, I think Tooch and I talked about it briefly on his old show. The stream show. What was it called again?
I Have a Stream.
Yeah. But the one with the naked man in it, 10 to Midnight or something.
Yeah.
God, that's a good film where the killer's naked.
Movie, yeah. Guy runs around naked though.
Yeah, you should look that up, man. It's from 83.
Cop chasing him.
Yeah, he has his daughter or something in it. He's trying to kill Bronson's daughter.
Yeah.
What's the name again?
10 till Midnight from 1983.
Okay, I think I have heard of it. Right.
This is it's my favorite Bronson movie. I think he's excellent in it.
He's a great actor.
Movie where Bronson is like being hunted. I think it's Lee Marvin is hunting him.
Okay.
I forget the name of the movie. He's like a fugitive, and Lee Marvin is hunting him down. I gotta find it. Man, that one is killer though. You should check that one.
While you're looking for that, Mr. Mayhem says Hard Times with Charles Bronson is an underrated film. That's the one. Look at that.
Coburn it's Coburn. He's the boxing promoter.
Gotcha.
And Bronson is the fighter, the bare knuckle boxer.
That's a movie I've always wanted to see because Walter Hill is one of my favorite filmmakers from that era.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. And
he did 48 Hours, right?
Yeah, 48
he did 48 Hours. One of my favorite movies is called what's it called? Streets of Fire, with the guy who had the French name oh gosh, my fucking memory is shot. too many drugs.
It's
nonetheless,
Death Hunt, 1981.
That's
Bronson and Lee Marvin and Angie Dickinson.
Wow.
Okay.
Did you ever see that one? He chases them all over the land. It's like,
she was one of the alleged victims of Cosby.
Is that right?
I didn't know that. Wow.
Yeah, am I wrong in that?
I don't know.
I don't think so.
I'm pretty sure that she was one of his alleged victims. Mm-hmm. Angie Dickinson.
So I'm just looking up Streets of Fire real quick.
It has a great cast in Death Hunt. William Sanderson, I don't know him. Andrew Stevens, Carl Weathers. Man. Of course, Lee Marvin and Charles Bronson are the two leads. Angie Dickinson also in it, but Maury Chaykin, freaking man, great cast. Death Hunt.
Yeah. Death Hunt. I'm definitely going to look for that one.
Yeah.
All right. So I am looking for the trailer to Streets of Fire, the Walter Hill movie with Michael Perry and Diane Lane. You guys have never heard of it?
What's it called again?
Streets of Fire.
Is that
I don't think I know.
Michael Perry?
Yeah. Do you know who he is?
Yeah. I remember that
Eddie-
movie. Is
Eddie
that
and the
Walter Hill
Cruisers?
too?
Yeah, I remember Eddie and the Cruisers and Eddie Lives Part 2.
Yeah.
know there
I've
was
never
a
seen
part
either
two,
one of
yeah.
them. But okay, so here is the trailer. Let me see if I can put it up on the screen here.
Yeah, Streets of Fire. I think who directed Streets of Fire? That was Walter Hill.
Hold on a second.
Out 2 in theaters June 14th, rated PG.
Now on Blu-ray, Dan. Streets of Fire. Here comes the preview.
I'll be coming for her, and I'll be coming for you too.
Sure you will, and I'll be waiting.
I love this movie.
Yeah, I remember this.
Great soundtrack.
85 or 83?
World unlike any you've ever seen before, where rock and roll is king. The only law is a loaded gun. Where the beautiful
Stay and see the show.
Oh, she's so hot.
Google
I want Tom Cody.
and the
Great Willem
brave
Dafoe.
all meet
Yeah, it's for real.
in Streets of Fire.
You're lying in your bed Saturday night with sweating buckets and it's not even hard. But your brain has got the message and it's sending it out to every nerve and every muscle you got. You've got so many dreams that you don't know where to put them, so you better turn the fuel on blue. Your body's got a feeling that it's starting to rust. You better rev it up and put it to use. And I don't know how I ever thought that I could make it all.
All right.
Well, guys, I love Willem Dafoe, but I have to take a leak. If you can bear with me just a moment.
Okay.
Yeah, Willem Dafoe, his cock was too big for some movies.
Yeah,
right?
Antichrist.
Yeah.
I'll be right back.
All right. I stopped the preview because they were playing that song for so long that I
Was
know
that 85 or 83?
It was in the mid 80s. I want to say it was 83.
I remember that. I was in high school.
It was 83 or 84. Yeah, it was right around then. And so the premise is simple as fuck. Yep. She is a great rising rock and roll star. And she comes back to her hometown, and her old boyfriend also
Walter
happens
Hill.
to come. Michael Perry comes in with his gun and so forth, and they broke up because she wanted to become a superstar. He wanted her to stick around and so forth. And then she gets kidnapped by Willem Dafoe and his gang, and so he tries to save her. It's like a takeoff on The Searchers, the John Wayne, John Ford movie. It's basically a Western. That's what William Hill would do. He would do Westerns, but modernize them. And so it's a really fun fucking movie. Really fun.
Rick Moranis was in this too, I think.
Yes, he was the agent. Yeah, he plays this dumbass agent and stuff. The acting today
Rick
sucks.
Moranis. It's like,
I think he's still with us. I don't think he's passed, but I don't think he works much anymore. I don't know if it's because he doesn't want to.
Bill Paxton was in this too, I think. Robert Townsend.
Robert,
They had a killer cast.
Let me tell you, there is a what's his name? Jesus Christ!
I'm looking at some of the cast here, man.
Ed
Begley Jr.
Ed Begley Jr. Yes, it's a great cast.
Wow.
It's a great fucking cast. There's a sequence where this group is singing a song done by a white guy, Dan Hartman. You know Dan Hartman?
Yeah.
The musician?
Yeah.
All right. So he wrote this song, and he wrote it for the movie, and he wanted to sing it in the movie, but the producer, Walter Hill, the producer director, said, no, we're going to have these 4 black guys lip sync it and perform it. And he goes, okay, that's fine. And so he wrote the song, and they did such a phenomenal job lip syncing. And Robert Townsend is one of the backup
the
singers.
Sorrells.
Yes, and so they're
band.
doing all these great Temptations-like moves and stuff in the background. It's really phenomenal. It's really
I didn't know
good.
that was Walter Hill.
Yeah, Walter Hill's great. I love him.
Yeah,
he
he's
did. He did. Didn't he do? No, that was John.
48
Carpenter.
hours. Yeah.
48 Hours, but he did a movie where
Southern Comfort with
yes, the Carradine brothers.
yeah, Carradine and what's that other guy's name? God, I forget his name. He was in that caveman movie, wasn't he? Quest for Fire, where they were cavemen.
Oh, yeah, I never saw
They
that.
had no language. Was that no? Powers Booth. I'm sorry, that was his name.
Powers Booth, good
And
actor.
Keith Carradine.
Good actor.
Yep.
Yes. Walter Hill movies. All right, so he did. Geez, he done some clunkers too.
Powers Booth was in Sin City chewing up scenery. You remember as the bad guy? Danny?
Yes.
I always thought Powers Booth looked like Oliver Stone.
Yeah, a little bit.
I could see that. Yeah.
Yep.
Walter Hill. I'm looking at his. He did The Assignment. Was that the movie? No, that's a 2016 movie, action movie. I see it on streaming services all the time. But the one movie that I'm thinking about that he did early in his career was a movie called Jesus. I'm not seeing it here. Maybe he didn't do that movie. Maybe I got it confused. He did Brewster's Millions with
Richard Pryor. John Candy was in that.
Yes. Red Heat with Schwarzenegger and Belushi.
Yeah, that was okay. I like Belushi a lot, actually. A lot of people
I
don't.
saw his most recent one, Dead for $1, with Christoph Waltz.
Oh,
Like a bounty hunter,
nice.
Yeah.
He's one of my favorite actors nowadays, Christoph Waltz. Somebody was complaining. I think it was Mr. Mayhem complaining about the act. No, it's MC Fact. The acting today sucks. Yeah, it does compared to those 80s movies, but there's still great actors like Christoph Waltz out there.
Yep.
Yeah, any of you guys see Army of Darkness?
Oh, yeah.
Hated it. You mean the Evil Dead Part 3?
The Evil Dead series.
Oh, I hated it. I love the Evil Dead. I hate Army of Darkness. I just fucking love
Walter
it.
Hill worked on Deadwood. That was a great show.
Oh, they did?
Yeah,
Didn't know
that's
that.
what it says. Yep.
You guys ever see Weird Science?
Yes.
Yep.
John
that
Hughes
was
movie.
was him too, right?
Yeah,
Walter
Bill
Hill.
Paxton. No, it was John Hughes made that movie.
Okay.
And then Bill Paxton was in it along with
Robert Downey Jr. is in it. Anthony Michael Hall.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Cliff says that new movies just don't thrill him. This isn't a good decade so far for movies. You guys agree regarding this decade's 4 years of movies so far into this decade?
Pretty much.
Yeah. I mean, the Dune 2 movies are pretty good. Fury Road, excellent. You know, what year was Fury Road? That was 2017, though. So
yeah, that wasn't just
can't
decade,
really,
right?
yeah, can't really count it in this decade. But
I think that movies have been overtaken by what the Netflix and those other studios that do with these limited series, and that's where the money is now.
I'm watching a really good one right now. I mean, it's awesome. Man. It's based on the novel called Dark Matter on Apple TV. Do you guys know this one?
No.
Isn't that with our girl Jennifer Connelly?
Jennifer Connelly and Joel Edgerton. It's like it's amazing, man. It's like he plays he's a physics teacher, and like he has kind of a theory of like many worlds theory, like parallel universes and stuff. There's infinite. Every decision you make makes a new universe, splits off, and like a guy from another universe who fucked up his relationship with Jennifer Connelly, he like comes into this universe, kidnaps the other guy, and takes his place. So he can fuck Jennifer Connelly. It's like awesome, man. It's so good.
Yeah,
the other guy's
trying to Jennifer Connelly.
The other guy's trying to get back to his world. He's got a wife and kid. He's like been kidnapped, and he's hanging out with the girlfriend of the guy from the universe he's in that universe now. He hangs out with the girlfriend played by Alice Braga, the Argentinian actress.
Oh yeah, she's great.
Yep,
Sonia,
really good
Sonia
too.
Braga.
Good actress. Yep.
I definitely remember Hot to Trot.
You remember Hot to Trot?
Yes,
Carl says Bobcat Goldthwait. Surprisingly enough, the horse, Big Dick, go figure.
Wow, Bobcat.
Yeah, I was going to say even I think the girl was Virginia Madsen maybe in Hot to Trot, but next month Netflix is going to have Beverly Hills Cop 4 finally.
Wow, nice.
Oh, really? So that's going straight to Netflix?
Yeah, and Judge Reinhold's back in it. I think the original cast for the most part. So
You see that? That's where the money is now. The theatrical experience is dying.
It hasn't even ended yet. Cliff, how's it get canceled? It's like
he went on to say it's a different. He's talking about the series.
Yeah, the series is. It's. Yeah. I mean, it comes out every Wednesday. I mean, actually, tomorrow will be the next episode 5. So, yeah,
I agree
the
with
writer
Carl.
of the novel is the writer of the novel wrote the screenplay for a teleplay or whatever.
Okay. Carl says movies suck because all the good movies have become 10-hour TV seasons. Yeah, and some of them are too long, right? You know, there should be 4 episodes instead of 10 or whatever. But if you really want to watch some quality stuff, you're more likely to find it streaming than
House
you
of the
are
Dragon.
Here. Yeah, but the theatrical experience still beats nothing. I know that Dan still goes to the movie theater often. What have you seen, Dan? You and Nikki?
We haven't gone in a while, actually. The last ones we saw was that Omen prequel.
Yeah, how was that?
And that was okay, just a little too CGI for my liking.
I started watching that. My wife and I were a little bored, but we thought it was pretty good. Very well done. I don't know. Someone directed it that's pretty decent. I just can't remember.
I can't recall. The last one we saw was called Abigail.
Yeah, how is that? I want to see
that. That one was okay.
Okay. Abigail is the story of a little girl. I forgot what the premise is. This little girl is like sees ghosts or is a ghost?
No, she's a vampire.
Okay.
And her dad is like this wealthy guy that owns a company. And to get even at all of his enemies, he always like pays his enemy to kidnap his daughter. Like this big ransom. They don't know it's his daughter, but then his daughter eats them because she's a vampire. So if he gets pissed at you, he just pays you to kidnap his daughter and she devours you.
Ooh.
What's the name of that one?
Abigail.
Yeah.
Abigail. Okay.
Yeah, I love the trailer for it.
I tried really watching that first Omen, but we couldn't get into it. I don't know.
It was okay. It wasn't great. You still never watched all that DiCaprio movie, did you? The Scorsese?
No.
You gave up on it, huh?
What's it called? The
Killers of the Flower Moon?
I'll go back to it, but the only character really that I liked in that movie was the Jesse Plemons character. That was it.
He's so good. He really is.
The other guys, I just didn't like them. They're assholes. I know. No.
That's funny. All right. So I saw a couple of things on streaming. You guys ever see The Blackcoat's Daughter?
No.
Mm-mm. All right. Blackcoat's Daughter is with the little girl who was in Mad Men.
She's grown up now.
Yeah. She looks nice, but she is having a real hard time in this movie. She's in a boarding school, and her parents kind of forget to pick her up during the Christmas holidays, and she gets stuck there, and something supernatural. I won't give away too much. Something supernatural happens, and Emma Roberts is also in the movie, and she's not stuck in the boarding school, but she is trying to make her way over there for some particular reason that, again, I won't give away. It's a slow moving movie, but it is worth your time if you like a good, creepy, supernatural type film. It's called, again, The Blackcoat's Daughter. Yeah, you can find it on Netflix or Hulu or any one of those services.
On Netflix, is that the Tyson fight going to happen with Jake Paul? Or
I heard that it was postponed. Yeah. Have you heard that, guys?
Like Tyson injured himself or something. He's my age, right? It's like, how old is he? 56, 57?
I think he
was 19 when he won the title in 86 against Trevor Berbick. So
I was 18 in 86. He's 1 year older than me.
All right, so another one that I saw that's similar to the one that I just talked about, it's on Prime and Hulu. It's called Eileen, and it stars Anne Hathaway as a therapist who comes to work at a prison, and she meets this kind of dull woman, young girl who lacks self-esteem. She's played by somebody named Thomasine McKenzie. You probably would recognize her if you saw her. And so there should have been a great lesbian scene because they both fall for each other, but the movie failed us and doesn't have that scene. But it is a good kind of murder mystery film. So if you run into Eileen, hey, Mr. Shorty, how are you?
She is naked a lot in Love and Other Drugs.
Anne Hathaway?
Yeah, the guys that did About Last Night and 30-something did a movie about how Viagra was created. It's got Jake Gyllenhaal in it. So it's set in the 90s, but it's from 2010. But he is fucking the shit out of Anne Hathaway. And it's kind of like how Rob Lowe was doing Demi Moore in About Last Night. By the way, Demi Moore is promised to be completely naked in her next film. Full
Demi
frontal.
Moore?
Wow.
Full frontal nudity in her next film.
You see the expression on my face?
How old is she, though?
61, something like that.
Damn. All right.
Yeah, but yeah, if you never saw Love and Other Drugs, it's a fun film about how pharmaceutical companies stumble on Viagra. They're trying to work with blood pressure, and it turns into your dick's getting hard. Thank God for that, right? And, it's like before, if you lost your dick, your wife's like, "What are you, gay? What's wrong with you?" At least now we've got a script we can get. But the movie, again, she's naked all through it, man. If you haven't, I saw it in the theater years ago, 2010. If you haven't seen that, Aldo, you should seek that out.
I will definitely watch it. Love and Other Drugs.
Fun film too. Gyllenhaal's fun. She's good. It's a good movie, man.
Yeah,
How old is Ashton Kutcher?
60.
He's like, what, half of her age?
She's not been with Ashton in years. He's with Mila Kunis in real life.
I know. I was just saying, I mean, like, she was like,
No, you want to talk about age? Is the Red Hot Chili Peppers frontman Anthony Kiedis is 61. His girlfriend is 19.
What?
He's old enough to be her fucking grandfather.
Yeah.
I once had a girlfriend that was 19. I was 16.
If you're Anthony Kiedis and like she's like, yeah, last year I was in 12th grade. What do you have to talk about?
The size of my dick.
It seems a little sleazy. I just,
Sometimes we're funny, sometimes we suck.
Okay, so forgive us. All right. What else have you guys seen? I think I've seen one other one that I want to talk to you guys about.
I told you a couple ones that I liked before. You said you watched the Roy Scheider one. You thought it wasn't that good though.
Right.
Which Roy Scheider movie?
Fair something? Jesus, my
It's
memory.
from 79. I can't remember the name of it either. I liked it. I thought it was really good.
It wasn't bad. Fair Play. Was it Fair Play?
No, not Fair Play.
Did
If
Dan
you said
ever
it,
see,
I would know.
Dan ever see Sorcerer? It's a William.
I watched it at Aldo's.
Okay, excellent.
Yeah.
The ending is great in that movie. The ending.
I'm looking up the movie for Roy there in 79 today.
Fair Play, huh?
That's not it. I'm looking it up now.
51 Pickup.
No, it's called Last Embrace.
Last Embrace. Yes.
I don't know that one. Wow.
Oh yeah, I
Interesting
enjoyed it.
film. Go ahead. Tell them the plot.
Well, first off, the Janet lady, was her name Janet Margolin? Was it? What's her name? You
Janet
knew her.
Margolin. Yeah.
Yeah, she was a good-looking lady. She it's some kind of biblical thing. Like I'm not religious, so I don't know the Bible thing, but like she's trying to avenge some kind of biblical thing, like, and is killing descendants of like this that enslaved her grandmother or something. And it turns out she was supposed to be trying to kill Roy, but he starts fucking her and she starts liking him, but he catches on to it and confronts her on it. Anyway, it's good, man. There's a lot of nudity, suspense. Roy's very paranoid and you can feel it. The camera's looking around, like even before the girl, like Aldo said, it didn't have any suspense. I was on edge watching it because Roy's character is extremely paranoid because he feels like he works for a government agency and he thinks they tried to kill him.
Right.
And so I think it's very suspenseful. I liked it, man. I think he's an underrated actor.
I love Roy Scheider. I really love him in just about everything that I've ever seen him in. You know, he's got that special granite-faced look.
He looks like Pat Riley to me.
It does look a little like he would have been great in the HBO series playing Pat Riley instead of what's his name, Adrian Brody.
I thought Brody was okay though.
It was good. Yeah, it's just the nose that gets me. You know, his Brody's nose.
My dad looked a lot like Roy Scheider. If someone would play my dad, would have been Roy Scheider. I would pick for the actor.
How cool is that? How cool is that? All right, I saw this one other movie called Raging Grace. You guys ever hear of that?
Nope.
What the hell's wrong with you guys? These movies are readily available on.
You sure that's not Saving Grace? Is that the
No,
one?
it's Raging Grace.
Saving Grace was great. I told you about that one recently, but go ahead, please.
Yes, I like that movie. Raging Grace is about an immigrant movie who is in England illegally with her daughter, and she's trying to get a whatever it's called in England, a work visa or what have you, and she's always trying to stay ahead of the law, the immigration law that's after her. Well, she accepts a job at this one house where the woman who hired her is trying to kill the owner of the house, a very rich man. And so she's been feeding him medication that will slowly bring him to his death. And the immigrant lady discovers that. And it's a fascinating story. And part of what the fascination of it is that the immigrant's daughter plays a fucking little a little kid who's just always popping up out of nowhere and scaring the shit out of you because she's playing games on her. She's playing practical jokes on her mom and scaring the shit. So her mom is feeling all this tension. We don't want to get caught and so forth. And here's my daughter hiding in the fucking hamper and popping up and stuff. And it's just a really, really well done movie. It's got a little bit of a political message. So you conservatives out there, you'd have to put up with that. But it's definitely worth your time. It's called Saving Grace.
I'd like to tell you about State of Grace, which I had never seen in my entire life. It's a crime movie. If you like crime movies, I think it's great. Apparently, it was released the same week as Goodfellas, and that just killed it. But listen to this cast, if I could have you gentlemen's attention.
Sure.
Sean Penn, Ed Harris, Gary Oldman, John Turturro, Robin Wright, Burgess Meredith, John C. Reilly.
Wow.
I mean, it's a fucking
what a cast.
Yeah. And
what's the name of it again? Saving Grace?
No, State of Grace.
State of Grace.
Came out the same time Goodfellas did, so it bombed at the box office. It's like I said, it's a crime movie. It's fucking unbelievable. And DiCaprio said that Gary Oldman's performance, like, as far as he knew, like, motivated generations of actors or would-be actors, the people he had talked to. He was just saying how good Gary Oldman was in particular in that film.
Yeah. Dan texted me about this movie.
I can't believe I haven't seen this movie.
That's what I said. I was like, this is so good.
And when Dan texted me, I looked up who the director was. It's Phil Genoux. Tooch, does that name ring a bell to you? Phil Genoux came on, and everybody thought that he was going to be the next Steven Spielberg because he did a movie. His first movie was called 3 O'Clock High, and it was basically it's basically the High Noon movie, but applied to a high school.
The bully wants to fight him at 3 o'clock.
At 3 o'clock, and so the main character,
one.
this kind of nerdy kid, is like worried at 3 o'clock.
Casey Siemaszko. I think was his name. Casey Siemaszko. Is that how you pronounce it?
Yeah, that's
and
it.
Richard Tyson. I saw that on HBO in like '87.
Yeah, look at that. So when Dan pointed that movie, I quickly put it on my queue list. I definitely want to see it because that's I think the follow-up movie to 3 O'Clock High for the director Phil Genoux. So I definitely want to see that. State of Grace, 1990.
I did. I watched with the girls. It was on HBO, and I was like, all right, I'm just going to watch this, and I don't care if the girls are going to watch it too because it's a classic. The Fifth Element. Bruce Luc Besson, and
at least you got some nudity there from Mila Jovovich too.
I was like, they were both so beautiful, Bruce and Mila, in that movie. Yeah. And the movie's classic. It's got a great story. It's campy enough, and it's like fairy tale-ish enough to for kids. But I noticed that Luc Besson has a movie called Dog Man last year, and I didn't see that.
Mm-hmm.
Have either of you guys seen Dog Man?
No. The title is familiar, but I haven't
seen it either. But that was his latest movie. I didn't know he was still working.
I got one more Oldman I saw.
But speaking of Gary Oldman, The Fifth Element, right? He was in that.
Yeah.
I saw a movie I had never heard of.
And speaking of great actors too, Dan. Gary Oldman, one of our greatest. He's one of the top actors working.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Yeah, I agree.
It's excellent.
I got one for you I'd never heard of before, and it was directed by the guy that wrote The Exorcist. Now, obviously not Friedkin who directed it, but William Peter Blatty. Is that how you say it?
Yeah, the author of The Exorcist, yes.
Yeah.
Well, he directed this film and said it was a direct sequel to The Exorcist.
Wow.
Called The Ninth Configuration from 1980, and it stars Stacy Keach. It's got the priest from The Exorcist, Joshua Miller.
Jason Miller.
Jason Miller. Joshua Miller's his son. It was in Near Dark. And Jason Patrick's his son, too. But yeah.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah. But the first half of the film is campy, and it's just like, why am I watching this? Then it gets really, really dark. And, well, I mean, they're focusing on, is there a God? Is there an afterlife? And anyway, the guy tells Stacy Keach's character, like, nobody does anything to help anybody else. And he's trying to give him these examples. He's like, if there was a God, people would care and stuff. And he's like, no, I don't want vague bullshit. Give me an example of somebody that really fucking does something for themselves, or not just for themselves, for other people. And in the end, well, should I spoil it? I don't know. Anyway, it's a Vietnam era kind of film. All these guys are suffering from PTSD, and they're all wondering about their existence and what it all means. And it's really deep. The first part of the film is campy comedy, and I thought, why am I watching this? But it turns into really deep analytical stuff. Second half of the film, and again, he considers it a direct sequel to The Exorcist because it's about good and evil and why are we here, those kind of things. So it's called The Ninth Configuration.
Yeah, that's been on my list for a long time. That one.
Yeah.
Is Carl Grabowski? Is that retro?
No, I don't think so. I think Carl is somebody who used to follow us a long time ago and is back.
Sports Chicago style, is that retro? One of these guys is retro. I'm fucking
I am sure, but I don't think it's Carl Grabowski.
The Ninth Configuration was is that like, were they like soldiers or something in the
Yeah, they're all suffering from PTSD, but they don't that wasn't what it was called in 79, 80, you know. So they're putting all these guys in this facility because the government thinks they're all faking. They've gone through fucking war, of course, and the government thinks they're like trying to get money or some shit, you know.
So can we if you go back and watch Chris Tucker, so Chris Tucker's not playing a human being. He's like an alien, like sex being who's a TV talk show host, podcaster.
Yes.
He's not. It's not a human. So that's why it's over the top. If you go back and watch it, you'll understand the character a little bit more. You think, it wasn't a bad. I mean, he was the comic relief, annoying thing, but he's not human. You know, he's built to pleasure human beings, you know, and other aliens, you know.
Well, Tooch, you used the perfect word, campy. It's a campy film.
Very campy.
Yeah. So if you're into those kind of films where, you know, a lot of stuff is tongue in cheek and stuff.
Space opera fairy tale.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah. What is this scene in Bruce Willis's apartment where he was shoving people into the wall? Is great.
That's in Fifth Element. The auto wash. Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
Priest. You know, it's like the order had handed down the key to the temple where you place the stones, and the Fifth Element lays in the middle. You know, they had handed down the key over generation. The last one is Ian Holm, the actor. You know, and he was kind of a bumbling priest. You know.
Yeah.
The cast is excellent in Fifth Element.
Guys, any final thoughts? Any final movie recommendations?
Well, I was going to ask Tooch, because we talked about it before he got here, to bring it full circle. Did you ever see the film from 77 called Looking for Mr. Goodbar?
Yeah, a long time. It's Diane Keaton, right?
Yeah, and she did her own nude scenes and had never been naked before. And like Tom Berenger cuts her up while he's raping her with the strobe light on. Holy fuck, I thought about that movie for 3 days after seeing it.
My parents went to the theater to see it, so 77 would have been 9. They came home, they were like, never see that movie. It's not for you. It's not for kids. I hadn't seen it for a long time, you know. I had that stigma, you know. My parents had gone to see it. They must have been shocked or whatever, you know.
Yeah, I mean, that ending. The ending is superb. I remember when I saw it. It was I actually remember the theater I saw it. It was as the Norwich Theater. We're talking about the Harlem Foster area. The Norwich Theater was a little further south of that area.
Yep.
And I remember
the
going in.
Linnell Cookie Factory.
Yes, my uncle used to work there.
So my Aunt Carmela worked there.
Really?
Yeah. They
Well,
probably
ask
knew
her-
each other.
I'll
She
ask
passed-
her if
passed
she
away,
knew
though.
who. Oh, I was gonna say my uncle passed away too. My uncle would steal so many fucking
Yeah,
cookies from that
I had
place that
cookies
I
all the
think he
time when I
closed
went to
them
their
down.
She always had cookies there. You know, I love their cookies too. They had some that one that was
Oh,
like pink and brown at the same. I love that one. Then they had the almond crescents.
Yeah. He'd come around the house. He's trying to sell me these cookies for $1 a tin can, you know. And I'm like, "Fuck you! You stole these cookies.
Stole
Why
them,
should I
yeah.
give you $1 for? Because I need the money." You fucker. Maurice Leon. Anyway, I saw Looking for Mr. Goodbar at the Norwich, and I remember going in there real high with some friends and stuff.
I used to go there
and
all
that
the time.
fucking move, the ending of that movie spooked me, man. It was like, holy shit, man. And I probably should have shown that to my. You should show that movie to your daughters before they're of age to go out and party.
Yeah. I lived in Portage Park. That was like one of the closest theaters. You know, it was the Patio and the Portage.
The
And then you
Portage was
had
great on
you had
Milwaukee Avenue.
The Norwich, you know, a little bit farther north of the
Yeah, you
hip.
gotta take a little drive, right?
You know, a little bit north, and there was it was like a Chuck E. Cheese. I forgot what it was. It was like an indoor pizza roller coaster music. I saw some people talking about it in the chat room. I can't remember what it was called, but I used to take my son there because he used to like to ride the little roller coasters, and it's kind of like a Chuck E. Cheese, but it was across the parking lot from the Norwich Theater.
Mm-hmm. Mr. Shorty says that his grandpa would always get those Maurice Linnell cookies for him when he was a kid, but they were the broken pieces. That had to be my Uncle Mike, because I know him. He was throwing around these fucking tin cans. The ones that he wasn't throwing around, he was stealing. Fucker. Yeah, man, rest in peace.
Caesarland might have been called Caesarland, yeah.
Oh,
It was also called something else too. I'm sure. I don't remember what it was called.
They had a laser tag
son
place,
might
but
remember.
before that, there was a skating place, rollerblade skating. What rollerblade? Not rollerblade. It's just a skating place.
Yeah, roller skating.
Anyways, final thoughts, guys. Go around the horn here. Dan, what do you got?
Oh shit! Sorry about hitting the mic. No, it's just fun. I'm glad we were back. Again, to bring it full circle, I'm excited about Hard Knocks. So initially, I thought, oh, that's bad because George McCaskey taught me to think that was bad. But I hope the Bears are going to be do well. And like I said, I'm glad you're going to come to Nikki and I's marriage. Again, we're not having a wedding per se because both of us have.
Where is it?
Cincinnati.
Cincinnati. Okay.
Both of us have paid for weddings before, so we didn't want to have a wedding per se. We're going to be doing this in Cincinnati at like their city hall or whatever. But later that day, we'll be with Marilyn Manson and have our dress clothes on, look like he was at our wedding or something. But I am very happy that Aldo Gandia is going to attend.
Yes, I will. Get Nikki by the microphone. I'll talk to her next. Tooch, any final thoughts?
Well, we got weekend sports betting tips coming up. Anthony gave out 11 straight winners. So he was feeling the pressure last show. Unfortunately, it lost, but it was a good streak while it lasted. And then tomorrow we're company outing at the Iowa Cubs game. We're looking forward to that. It's like we rented the whole like left field lounge. So and they're serving Chicago dogs and bacon cheeseburgers. Man, I'm like, I'm there. I'm so there. I'm gonna have one of each. Tomorrow. I'm looking forward to it. It's supposed to be a nice day. Was watching the Cubs, a AAA team. Of course, the Cubs have already plundered the roster. Pete Crow Armstrong and David Bodie are already up. Forget the other pitcher who's up there too. That's doing really good. But Cubs need to the major league team need to put together some wins.
Oh my God!
Both Chicago baseball teams are struggling. Man, I'm super jazzed for Hard Knocks, like I said, in Bears State of Affairs. But if it's Tuesday night, what are we gonna do? It's like
maybe we can do Wednesdays.
We have to do Wednesday so we can talk about the show.
We can do Wednesdays because Buffon doesn't start until the regular season begins. So we can do Tuesday and Wednesday. So
maybe we can have Doug Buffon or John Buffon on the show.
He'd love to come on. He'd love to come on as long as Dan doesn't talk about
knocks.
anyone pissing in his mouth. He'd love to come on.
I might have to drop by Mr. Shorty's show about Thursday's my 56th birthday.
Oh,
he
nice.
said he's having Heidi on.
Heidi's really upset about the Mexican election today. Was it today? Yesterday?
Because the Jewish woman won.
How did that happen? Did they have?
I don't know.
Did they have Dominion voting machines there too?
That's funny.
I'd like to ask the other Dan when the fuck we're doing our Monday show. It's just got bumped.
I'll have
man,
to drop by on Mr. Shorty's show on Thursday.
No, we did Mondays and then we stopped. But happy early birthday, Mr. Tooch.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
indeed. Number
I
5-6.
took the day off, but I have so much fucking work to do around the house. It's like I'm mostly doing that stuff, you know.
Yeah. By the way, Dan, is Nikki at the mic?
No, Nikki's at my house. I'm at work.
Oh, I thought she was there with you.
But she's watching on the iPad. She's following along. She's here. She can hear you.
I thought she was like, giving you oral while you were.
No. Like I said, she's at the crib. She's home, but I'm at work. I'm about to go to 911 right now. So
one went to sleep. One went to sleep, and one is still awake.
There she
Alita
is.
has look in the camera there. Yeah.
Aw.
She did the panda bear picture.
Yeah, excellent.
She
Congratulations.
just turned 8, didn't she?
Ask her if she is available to do some sketches of Dan's wedding.
I was going to say, don't say something dirty there.
I know I was editing
Draw
myself.
some pictures for Dan and Uncle Aldo. Yeah.
Oh, she's a cutie, man. Better watch out. Better show her looking for.
She's grown up. I guess what was she like 6 last time I saw her? Yeah, she's really growing up, man.
Yeah, she's like smart. She's in the gifted. She gets 100 on like every test. Like school's too easy for her right now. It'll get harder. Yeah.
There you go.
Smart.
Well, everyone, tomorrow is another day here at the bar room. We've got shows planned, but I won't tell you what the lineup is. Just subscribe. And those of you who have subscribed, let other people know what we're doing here if you like our stuff. If you don't like our stuff, then don't mention us to anybody. And make sure you check out Tooch on Weekend Sports Betting Tips on Friday. I think the guys, the Willis Twin Towers, are not doing the show Friday because of schedule problems. So, guys, Weekend Sports Betting Tips is the show to watch on Friday.
Friday, 6 o'clock.
There you go. So for everyone here at the bar room, I want to say thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.
That's the show. Don't forget to make the bar room great again by hitting the like button. Tooch, I'll see you at the Iowa polls. And quite frankly, I'd love to see you at the Illinois polls, too. As for Dumpy Dan and Asswipe Aldo, you two can go fuck yourself.